This is a dangerous group. This is a dangerous group. This is a...
Today, the Biloxi community is mourning the loss of their beloved football coach, Joey St. Amant. St. Amant, also known as Elmo, recently lost his fight to ALS. St. Amant wore many different hats at Biloxi High School, but was best known as an assistant football coach. This past football season, the Indian community demonstrated their love and support for the St. Amant family with a pregame ceremony. Both the Biloxi and Pearl football teams raised $44,000 for a handicap-accessible van. Close friends are choosing to remember him as a joyful spirit and a lover of all things Biloxi.
If I could say one thing about Coach St. Amant is that he really cared about the kids, and if they needed the shirt off his back, he'd give it to them, and he just really cared about the kids. And that was his first priority. Very competitive, but cared about the kids the most.
It was a very positive influence on me, and a very, very positive influence on the success that Biloxi football has had throughout the time he's had when it comes to our kids being good in life, and he played a major role in that.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to the St. Amant family and the Biloxi community.
Hey, look. Here's to a person that did not know his true worth to everyone until he's gone. He was worth invaluable to every one of us, to my son, to me, to Cooper, to everybody. He had no idea his worth until now. He's upstairs, dog. He's looking at us, and he loves us. He's got his arms around us, and he's watching us right now, and he's saying right now, "You got me, dog."
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast live from TARNATION TV studios somewhere on planet Earth. You're watching the Elmo 200, the 2025 edition. This is the third annual race for this fundraising event. Completely designed and created, and basically he's running the whole show, Kelly Causey. So hats off to this guy. We're finally going to do it, and then he can rest again for another year or so. Thank you very much for watching the broadcast tonight. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. And if you would like to donate to the cause, links in the description below. Of course, there was a gigantic QR code that popped up at the front of the race, and I will put that up and down throughout the race as well. So if you missed donating, you can always check the description, or if it pops up on screen, use your cell phone device to do the thing and toss some dollars in that direction. My name is Blaine Donlon, and of course, I'm joined by Weston and Seth Cole. Rod, what's happening, buddy?
Another day in paradise. We're back here doing it again, another ALS race. A lot of fun last year. We had a really good time doing it. I'm looking forward to it, even though it's Talladega. Like I always say, I like to be up here when the Talladega race happens. But I know our co-host, he probably wish he was down there. We got Seth Cole, man, the myth, the legend, with us tonight. Seth, how's your night going?
Going good, and, obviously, would love to be down on the track racing up with these guys, but wouldn't pass up the chance to be up here in the booth with you guys as well. Had a blast doing it with you last year. Was super excited when Kelly asked me to run it back this year with you guys, and looking forward to some great racing here tonight because, this is the best of the best when it comes to super speedway racing. We've got 38 drivers are going to take the green, and let me see, how many drivers do I think have a shot at this? 38 drivers. It's not exaggerating. These drivers are really, really good at super speedway racing, and yeah, while a little bit of luck comes into play and being the right place, right time to get a checkered flag, these drivers are going to show their super speedway skills here tonight to position themselves as well.
Yeah, this track is fun to watch with these guys. They will be 3 wide. They'll be 8 cars deep. I don't know how they do it. I mean, I can't hold my breath that long. I've watched you do it, Seth. I watched Blaine love it. I'm one of the guys that goes, I go in the back, and I'm like, oh, you guys go figure it out. And these guys just run side by side. I just don't know how they do it.
And this race going to be run on the RTG, Rolling Thunder Gaming server, this being the Rolling Thunder Gaming version of Talladega Superspeedway here tonight. And I've had the privilege every other Thursday night to watch the action that takes place here. This racetrack and the way that it is set up with the different grip levels of the different lines, do not be surprised if we see them 3 wide, 8, 9, 10 rows deep. They can hold it that way. The momentum is so even in the 3 different lanes. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for passing here as well. Drivers that don't necessarily qualify up towards the front are going to have every opportunity in just a matter of maybe 10 laps or less to work their way up to the front of the field if they can visualize where the momentum is at. So going to be a lot of fun to see, what we have here in the first half of this race and how it translates to the second half of this race, because pit road can come into play. And of course, in super speedway racing, there's always around every corner the dreaded big one.
Oh, yeah, when they pile them up big time, sometimes the whole field. I'm not sure what the damage is set at for tonight, which would probably be more of a moderate damage in a track like this, which means you might have a chance to survive if you get into it. And the outside groove, though, is actually can be the faster way because you're keeping momentum up there, and you're not the guys on the lower lanes kind of have to lift a little bit to get off the corners. So it's kind of fun to watch them go 3 wide.
Of course, as well, this race for a great cause, for the ALS Association, in memory of Elmo Amant. And also here tonight, an opportunity. We've had this in the past number of seasons. There have been bids that have been placed on the different drivers during the course of this event to win this race. And whoever ends up being the winning bid of the driver that won, they're in line for an Amazon gift card. And I was looking just moments ago at the bidding war and the page, and there are a lot of drivers that are coming in with a lot of money riding on them. And it's interesting too, what drivers will go into a different mentality when it comes down to a special event, because there's no points on the line. There's no championship you're fighting for. You're not going for a playoff spot. You're trying to put on a great show for everybody watching at home. You're trying to put on a great show for a great cause. And of course, every driver, as soon as that helmet goes on, the visor goes down, they want to be the first one to that checkered flag. So you go into more of a tunnel vision style of racing, it seems like, when it's a special event race. And that just makes it more exciting for the spectators.
Well, everybody wants to win it. You want to be that champion for last year of the ALS race. I forget. Blaine was telling us earlier who had won last year. You remember who that was, Blaine?
Tyler Mallon. He was a last-minute addition. He was actually sitting in the weeds as a spare driver, just in case we couldn't fill the field. Brian Voiles, who sponsors a bunch of cars, he's actually got 3 cars in tonight's race for Voiles Trucking. He also drives. He's part of the BSR Racing League. Well, he couldn't make it last minute, so Tyler Mallon jumped in his car and raced Brian Voiles' car to the checkered flag and won the race last year. So even if you're an alternate, don't think that's a bad thing. There's a lot of people who want to be in this kind of race. And you know what? Even as an alternate, you get called up last minute and, come in here and win the thing. Why not, right?
Tyler Mallon is in the field tonight, driving the number 18 Ford. I believe that's a BSR Racing car. There's 3 of them out there that look just the same, different numbers, different drivers from BSR, sorry. And they should be doing really good tonight. They got some good talent there in that group.
Yeah, they definitely do. Of course, Voiles Trucking, Brian Voiles, a truck driver on normal days, and then he climbs on nights behind the wheel of a race car. And it's going to be interesting to watch those 3 hook up. It's going to be a little bit difficult, maybe for us visibly, to know who is who when they're in the middle of 3 wide battling. We'll have to kind of just rely on the numbers on the roof and on the doors to be able to know who is who. But you got to think they're going to be hooked up here at some point.
3 good drivers in that group, too. You got Taylor, you got Brian Voiles as well, but you also got Ricky J. We know him as Jovan Anderson. I've raced against him a lot, and I've never beat him. I think once when he broke down. So he's them 3 together are going to be a force to be reckoned with tonight.
And also, how about the sponsorship on these cars here this evening as well? A lot of different organizations, companies associated with Elmo Amant on the liveries of these race cars here this evening, going to be featured during the course of this 76 lap event, and we'll be highlighting them during the course of this thing. It's so cool that you have just so many different fronts that all come together for a single cause. Blaine talked about the fact, the hard work that Kelly Causey has put into organizing this event. It's not easy. It's months of preparation. It's just not 24 hours. Let's get everything set up. Everybody show up. We're all good to go. It takes a lot of planning. I'll bet you that Kelly probably started planning this year's event, all the way back at the end of the 2024 event. It's just that long of a process. You've got the drivers that have all come together. We had some drivers that were going to try and make the race here tonight, had things come up, so we had alternate drivers ready to step in behind the wheel, so that way all the cars are able to feature this evening. Of course, we got the fans that are tuning in here. We've had the people that have been bidding on the cars. Just how everything collectively comes together for something like this is so cool.
I think you'll see what happens is you're right. I think he started working on it last year, but I bet you he did it like one day afterwards. I bet you the next day he kind of went, oh, phew, that's done. All right, let's start planning for next year.
I literally got the call to start planning this one the day after the event last year, I believe. It wasn't a long time. Like, hey, Blaine, you want to do this again next year? Yeah, man, let's do it. And that's the thing, too, like the work that Kelly puts into this. He's got to find someone to host all this stuff. So all of our voice communications, so we can keep in touch with the drivers on the track, the broadcasters in the booth, send it all out to you watching, the viewers. We've got people who paint these cars. Every single car had to be painted by somebody. So you got the painters, you got the broadcasters, we've got all the artists, the guys who made the game, of course, Papyrus. You need, race servers, TeamSpeak servers, painters, you need drivers, you need broadcasters. And then all the stuff on the broadcast is all custom. I've got different sound packs. I've got different camera packs. So you might race this track and not get the same cameras as me because I'm getting additional things to add to the game to just kind of change it up a bit. Texture packs. John Godfrey is responsible for retexturing a lot of this stuff. So it never ends. And Kelly at the top of the pile here has to keep all that stuff in order. You should see the Google Drive that we're part of as a crew. It's just endless spreadsheets keeping track of, on top of that, all the sponsors. Who paid for what? Where do their logos need to go? Who's driving what cars? Is the car paid for? Is it just a community sponsor? It's a never-ending list of people, and you'll see at the end of this race, it's in the description below as well, the credits of all the people that are involved in this thing. And of course, we're in cahoots with the ALS Association, with Michael Branda over there, holding onto the reins of where all the money is coming down. Last year, the first year we did it, we generated just over $2,000 for the event. And then last year it was over $4,000. And I think we're right now, Kelly was saying, we're in around that mark already, not even started the race yet. So it's kind of weird how this little nerdy thing that we all love, it can create that much. Like, that's a pretty large pot of money when you think about what we actually do here, using a game that's literally called NASCAR Racing 2003 season, which was 23 years ago, mathematics. Very, very cool that we're able to pull this off with such an old simulator.
And if we were all part of the group chat, and the great thing about that too is Kelly Causey, yes, he's the man that's pulling all the strings, getting everything going. But a number of people that were there popping up saying, "Oh, I'll get this, I'll take care of that." They were, the last week's been really hectic for them, but they have been, a lot of people just helping out, trying to get it going. Like you said, the painters and all that stuff. But yeah, just the amount of people that were backing him up, just making sure that he was all set and ready to go.
38 drivers on the track here tonight as well. Kelly's not going to be able to be everywhere in the field at once. He's also got people that have stepped up to help him in terms of adminship here tonight in the race. A lot of people that have done adminship here in Rolling Thunder Gaming week after week, stepping up to the plate saying, you know what, I'll help you out with this, whether it's clearing black flags, adding laps, letting them know, hey, there's an incident here, all that type of stuff. So that way it's not all just laid on one person. Kelly's done all the organizing, but here tonight, a lot of pressure taken off his shoulders and put on other pairs of shoulders this evening to make sure that this thing goes as smoothly as possible.
Well, there's a lot of people, of course, over at Rolling Thunder Gaming that are helping kind of direct this whole race. Like the main race director is Josh Batalik. And then the crew underneath him as his assistants tonight, Rodney Sullins, Ken Roberts, Jim Jeffries, Sean Prime, and Tim Nosker. Keep in mind, those guys are also having to drive while they do all this stuff, too.
RTG is a great place. I've raced with them a bit this last season, a little bit off and on. And the group itself was really good, well organized. It's a great place to have them come run. I like the great group of guys. I love racing with them. Haven't been doing it lately, but they're still good group guys.
And Blaine, you alluded to the fact, with the QR code and everything for people to be able to donate. And, you may be in a position where, you're not able to donate. Hey, just tuning into this broadcast, saying hello to us in the chat, that helps support as well. We've got a lot of people that have chimed in our comments already. A couple of drivers that are going to be behind the wheels of their race cars here tonight. Robert Breedlove, Grant Wesley, thanking Jerby McSwash for sponsoring the car that he's going to have on track here tonight, looking to put that thing in victory lane. Got Milt Surratt in our chat here as well. Milton and I have had a little back and forth on Thursday nights where he'll, around the end of the race, kind of give his predictions of who's going to win. So I'll be calling the Who You Got Surratt.
Today, the Biloxi community is mourning the loss of their beloved.
Thanks. Might be one of the favorites here tonight, but give us a hello in the YouTube chat. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and we love having the interaction here because, it's Talladega. Mistakes will happen. We're probably going to have some caution periods, and during that downtime, we like to interact with the people that tune into the broadcast.
Milt's my buddy.
Team event.
Milt's my buddy. I play golf with him. He's kind of cool.
You play golf with him like in real life, or you play it on
We play a World Golf Tour. We do tournaments and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Oh, nice. Well, on screen right now, we've been staring at this map. The 2025 Team Elmo, 25 states and 1 province of Ontario. Myself and Graham McDonald are the Canadians A. The rest, I'm surprised. You know what? I'm surprised North Carolina's only got 3 drivers. Virginia took the 4 drivers. That's the busiest state that we have on track tonight. But that's a lot of states, man. 20, that's half. Like what's there's 50 something states, right?
Yeah,
50.
That's half the United States. Right there.
That's crazy. Yeah, they're all represented almost. Does that make sense? 50% is all of half. That's good math.
We'll put Pennsylvania in there too. Your broadcast colleague of ours, top dragster Andrew Miller. He was here as a fill-in driver. They didn't need his services here tonight, but he would have represented the state of Pennsylvania had he been a fill-in driver this evening. So we'll give an honorary mention to Pennsylvania.
Nice.
So I'm looking at the map. We got the yellow one. That must be us because I see Vermont, Canada, and New York. Are you in New York?
I'm a New Yorker.
Okay, you don't live that far away from me then.
Yeah, I mean, really, neither do I. I border right onto New York State, so I could get over the border in literally 20 minutes.
We almost look like we're about probably half an hour. So where I'm at, I'm about probably 2 hours away from him. 2 to 3 hours.
Well, speaking of all these cars, right now we're just watching just some practice right now. These guys are just out here practicing.
I'm seeing triple.
Yep.
These are the 3 cars we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
by the
Team Boyles.
Team Boyles by this Boyles Trucking. Those are the BCR cars.
Do you guys want to meet all the drivers? Because I've got... Well, see, last year we actually had all the drivers do their own driver intros. This year we'll be able to see all the cars up close and personal, but I decided last minute to just do it all myself. So I'll play a clip right now. It's about a 6-minute clip. We are going to be going green in approximately 20 minutes. So we'll play this thing now. You can see all the sponsors that are involved in today's race, all the drivers driving the cars up close and personal with the high definition rendering services from, I'm guessing Rodney Sullins probably did the renders.
I would believe it.
So thanks, Rodney. We'll play that for you right now, and we'll see you in about 6 minutes or so. The number 00 of Kelly Causey, sponsored by Jeff Jones. The number 1, driven by Jeremy Jeffries, sponsored by Judd Adkins. The number 3, driven by David Canon from Rolling Thunder Gaming out of Seattle, Washington. The number 4, driven by Brian Schilling, sponsored by Jamie Creel. The number 5, driven by Jason Scheck out of Sycamore, Illinois. The number 6, driven by Sean Prime out of Tavares, Florida. The number 8, driven by Greg Lovell, sponsored by Jesse Lancaster. The number 9, driven by Chris Elliott, sponsored by Randy Briel. The number 10, driven by Terry Bombard, sponsored by Mitch Bombard. The number 13, driven by Mike Mangialardi out of Federal Way, Washington. The number 15, driven by Ken Causey, sponsored by Ken Causey. The number 17, driven by Chuck McClure, sponsored by Ryan Bird. The number 18, driven by Tyler Mallon, last year's champion, sponsored by Brian Voiles. The number 20, driven by Jessica Shelton, sponsored by Wayne Roddelfitch. The number 21, driven by Randy Waugh, sponsored by Randy Waugh. The number 24, driven by Graham McDonald out of Sarnia, Ontario. The number 28, driven by Mark Paglia, sponsored by David Blackwell. The number 29 of Brian Wolf out of Austintown, Ohio. The number 31, driven by Bernie Mobbs, sponsored by Eric Dems. The number 33 of Jeffrey Goodpaster, sponsored by Chris Horton. The number 38, driven by Rodney Sullins, sponsored by Jeff Jones. The number 39, driven by Josh Metallic, sponsored by Josh Metallic. The number 41, Denny Carroll, out of Big Stone Gap, Virginia. The number 47 of Dan Lovell, sponsored by Kelly Causey. The number 48 of Alex Moe, sponsored by Joanna and David Marsland. The number 51 of Stephen Branstetter, out of Randolph, Oklahoma. The 55, driven by Ken Roberts, sponsored by Jeff Jones. The number 56, driven by Jeffrey Elliott, out of Mooresville, North Carolina. The number 60 of Brian Rawson, out of Heath, Texas. The number 68, driven by Brian Voiles, sponsored by Brian Voiles. The number 77, driven by Donnie Garrett, out of Winchester, Virginia. The number 088, driven by Tim Nofsker, 2023 ALS champion, sponsored by Ricky Lewis. The 88, driven by Grant Wesley, sponsored by Derby McSwash. The 93, driven by Jovan Anderson, sponsored by Brian Voiles. The 096, driven by Ulysses Sandoval, sponsored by Jamie Creel. The 96, driven by Kraig Hagley, out of Gypsy, Kentucky. The 222, driven by Greg Palmer, sponsored by Shane Switzer. The 711, driven by John Godfrey, out of Cornelius, North Carolina. The 931, driven by Robert Breedlove, sponsored by Glenda Causey. There we go. That's what the cars look like. Thank you to all the sponsors involved there. It's going to be a super cool race, super fantastic. Thanks again to Seth and Rod for handling this, because I can sit behind the scenes and make sure that this thing looks crisp and pro. But yeah, all these drivers coming out tonight. Thanks to the alternates, thanks to RTG, thanks to everybody involved. Of course, thanks to everybody who donates, because that helps a lot. Let's see there on track. We got Brian Wolf from that blue number 29 from Fluid Studios. Keep an eye to the Fluid Studios YouTube channel in the coming days. I'm sure Brian, he's always putting out a highlight reel in sync to some cool music. So if you subscribe to Fluid, I'm sure he'll hook you up in the next couple of days with a recap from the events of this race.
We'll keep him busy, Seth, keeping him running around trying to find the cars we're talking about.
I've been watching, a few of these packs out there running side by side. Had pack of 6, pack of 4. It's about to turn to a pack of 5, and people are probably wondering, well, it's a super speedway. Why are we out here practicing? What is there that we can possibly learn out there that we don't already know? You're just going fast and turning left. Well, there's actually a lot of stuff that you're learning out there. For one thing, while a bunch of these drivers race with each other, it may have been a while. Some of these drivers may not have raced with each other for a year since the last event back in 2024. So kind of getting reacquainted with the racing style. Another big thing I've been noticing these drivers do, which I think is going to be a pivotal point during the course of the race, is going to be pit road entry. A lot of drivers well-versed in the art of what we call hot pitting, which is where you make up a lot of time on the racetrack after the pit stop cycle is complete. Basically, the pit road speed, 55 miles per hour, but you don't necessarily have to enter pit road right at the commitment line at 55. You can actually be about a little under 100 miles per hour on the brakes, cross the commitment line, and as long as you don't let off the brakes until you hit that 55 mile per hour, the game will actually read you that entire stretch at the pit road speed limit. The problem is, if you're coming down pit road with another 6, 7, 8, we've even seen sometimes 20 cars come down pit road all together, it's like highway pandemonium traffic, and you may end up running over somebody or getting run over yourself. So to master the art of hot pitting in a large pack of race cars is very difficult, and that's something that these drivers, I think, are trying to acclimate themselves to before we go green.
And you got a good point there. We've got guys from BSR, we've got RTG, Primetime Racing League, and then a few of the guys from the old Talladega Nights. There's people from a bunch of different leagues. Now, some of these guys do, like you said, race together every week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. There's some of these guys that they only race each other this time of year. It's very important, like you said, just to get accustomed to what this driver and that driver is going to do, how they push, how they bump draft, how they run together. Very good point, Seth, on that one.
This is Sandoval. I think that car is a little worse for wear. That's a backup car, I think. As I think he had a little moment on pit road, and he's sitting there waiting for assistance. Well, he just got a little bit of assistance right there from somebody. I don't think there's a single side of that race car that hasn't been hit. Front, sides, back, roof.
Great thing about this, it's practice. They've got a whole trailer full of these things. So let's go get a new one. Ulysses to Poppy Sandoval with wheels facing the wrong direction. Yep, definitely the wrong direction. We tried to go inside the car, and all we got was a snowy screen.
So we were talking earlier about all the chaos, all the time, all the effort, all of the just, how he's been busy all year. Probably, like you said, Blaine, he started the next day.
Yep.
Shelley Causey with us. Man that's running the whole show, pretty much the whole show. Kelly, how's your day going?
It's been chaotic, trying to do the auction, and there was a mess up with the link for it at one point, so we didn't quite get the bids that we wanted. But been working on the T-shirt that we'll put on the website on Facebook a little later. A lot of those proceeds go to the race too for the ALS. So it's been a rough day, but it's all worth it.
It's been a long day, but it's coming down to a conclusion where now you just got to play admin, and if I believe, are you just gonna let the other guys do it and just do the racing tonight?
I'm sorry, you broke up. What'd you say?
I said now that it's you've done all the hard work, now the race is here. Are you going to be playing admin tonight, or are you just going to be doing the racing?
No, I'm here to race. That's what it's all about, getting out there and racing for me. But as far as and try to win this thing for Joey, I'm starting in third, so I've got a good start. So hopefully we can work that out.
How do you know Joey? Did you work together? Did you go to school together, like high school? When did you meet this guy?
Well, when I first took my first job in high school, I came to Biloxi, and Joey was here, and he was like a part-time guy. He didn't have quite his degree yet, his teaching degree, but he was, I would consider him like a graduate assistant. I had just been a graduate assistant at Arkansas State. And so once I got here, we're pretty much the same age, and, we kind of grew to be friends real quick. And, I learned real quickly that Joey was someone that wasn't afraid to work, because he would do all the little things. It is what you have to do as a young coach, and he was doing everything he needed to do to become a coach, and he put forth the effort to get his schooling in, and he got it done. But so I've known him since '93, and I think all his friends will agree that the thing about Joey, the quality that he had as a friend for everybody, was the fact that he always put everybody else first in his life. And if that you have friends, there's some friends that you have that you probably can't call to come help you move. Well, that's not Joey. Joey's that guy that you knew was going to come, no matter if he had something going on. He was going to do everything he could to come help you. So, he was such a good person, and I think everybody agree with that. But it's like I said, I've known him since '93, and he tried to get me to come over to Biloxi a couple times, and I guess it was about 2 years before he passed away. I really thought I was going over there to work with him again, but it just didn't quite work out. But he became a really good coach, stayed there at Biloxi, his alma mater, the whole time, which, a lot of people look for greener pastures, not Joey. He was happy doing what he was doing in his community, and so, just a great coach. He started the bowling there and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of accomplishments in his life.
What's kind of cool, Kelly, is... Oh, sorry. It's interesting because I was having a conversation earlier this afternoon, and the discussion around this was the fact that, we'll see special events run in Enter 2003, but very rarely now do we see special events that are run with a cause like this behind it. Obviously, we've run this for multiple years now, but what was the thing that put the idea in your head to run the special event with this cause backing it?
Well, Joey had some good friends, Cooper and Jamie, they were doing some fundraising things, and I just got to thinking. I said, what could I do? And I've been in the racing community a while, and we do have some special events go on. And I've always thought it'd be a great idea for a fundraiser, to try to raise some money. So this was when Joey was in the latter part of his fight with ALS, and just said I was going to do it. And the first goal was to, just to help him out with some of his finances that he was having to deal with. And unfortunately, he passed away. In fact, we were going to, me and Blaine were set up to interview him the next day, but he passed away that night. So, but, I just thought it was something good that would help out. And, it's just, it's such a terrible disease. I sit there watching Joey with what he went through, and it was very quickly what happened, the demise of his body and stuff like that. So, it's just something that I think, all this money goes to ALS to help probably try to find a cure, and it's well worth it. And we appreciate all the donations and sponsors that we've had. We've got 11 new sponsors this year. And a lot of those guys are my buddies, and there's a lot of guys that come back. Some guys even doing, three cars and all that kind of stuff. So that have been with us for 3 years. So I think we can just keep building. And like I said, I think it's a good cause. We've got a really good, y'all do an outstanding job announcing and the production. And so maybe we can just keep it going.
Yeah, I remember the first year we were going to do this because, he hadn't passed when you were setting this up because it was going to be a benefit for his family. It was more of like a GoFundMe project to fund the medical bills because the family obviously has to pay for that stuff. And then when he passed, and then the next year we actually got, I think, you got in cahoots with the actual ALS Foundation and just started doing donations to them.
Right. Yeah, like I said, we transitioned it over. The first year of the ALS, we were kind of late, tried to get in with them. So, but just trying to get as much exposure as we can. I would hope that maybe in the future we can kind of get a little more exposure nationwide to where we can kind of reach out to some more people. But we're doing good with it. I think we were over 4,000 last year, and I think we raised about 2,800 in the car sponsorships this year.
That's amazing. Yeah, the numbers we were just saying before that we can do at this little community, that's massive numbers. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 generated from just a little broadcast sitting over here in NASCAR Racing 2003 land and being able to do what we do. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man, and a massive event. It's always such a massive turnout. We got a couple hundred people watching I'm watching the YouTube stats right now. We got people interacting with the channel. Is Tailgaters playing this thing live in the bar this year?
I believe so. And we've got some other guys that are getting together, some of the new sponsors that are the German McSwash guys are all watching it. So I think it can be a fun time to watch it, and hopefully we'll put on a good show.
Nice. Well, we're getting down to the about 3-minute warning here before we go into the green flag area. So, yeah, man, if you want to wrap it up or you got to get back on the track, I would imagine. So we should probably let you go.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm glad everybody come back and watch it to watch the race and all that. And hopefully I'll get to speak a little bit at the end about our sponsors and stuff there after the race.
For sure, man. Yeah. Or even during the race, we might kidnap you a couple times too.
10-4, man. Let's have a good, solid race.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Good luck out there, eh?
Thank you.
It's the sound in his voice, though. He's relieved. That long year of planning and everything is pretty much done. He's had a rough day today trying to get everything going, but I just like the fact that now it's time to run the show. It's the easy part for him, really. Go out and race in it.
Well, that's the thing. He'll literally plan this thing for 9 months, and it's insane. But now that the server's got drivers in it, it's go time, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now it's up to us.
It's the payoff time now. Pay windows open, and you heard him. He's taking off the administrative role. He's putting on the helmet. He's ready to go out there and win this thing. And hey, I mean, how cool would it be? Obviously, there's no bias in this, but it'd be just a cool storyline if Kelly ends up winning this thing, and we're talking to him in victory lane. That's when he starts delivering all the sponsorship stuff that he's going to do post race. I mean, you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened. It's super speedway racing. If you're in it, you can win it. That's always the moniker when it comes to these type of racetracks.
That's it.
Doesn't matter.
Right
As long
now,
as you take the green flag, you have an opportunity to win this.
Yeah, I was going to say right now we're focused on Jessica Shelton in the 20. I know she is your partner in crime there, Seth, over at the Flat Out Racing Network, NASCAR, broadcaster alumni right here.
Absolutely. Jess, part of our broadcast team. This car is actually really cool as well because it's actually based off of a truck that has this exact same livery. So,
cool.
She sent me the photo of the car this is based off of, and I look at that, I look at her car, I look at that, I look at their car. There's no difference. Rodney Sullins did a tremendous job of painting that race car. And it's so cool when you end up having like schemes like that too that have those nice little backstories about them.
Oh, Rodney painted this, did he? One sec, let's see if we can get a look inside. Rodney sent me a text. He said some of these cars, he goes insane with the detail on these things. He actually did the suit. Oh, and then we're going green, or she jumped off the track. Tell us, what are you doing? But yeah, we're going to take a look at inside of some of these cars because Rodney, as a painter, he goes right, I paint cars. But when it comes to the driver's suit, nobody sees that thing.
No.
It's just green or red or whatever. It's a single color. Maybe change the helmet to bright green or something. But Rodney is wild at the amount of detail he puts into these things. So we'll definitely get a look inside some of these cars. Is Wesley one of them? Yeah, he is. Don't move, Wesley. There it is. You can tell it's a Rodney creation when he's got the 88 on the headrests. He's got the arms done, the legs done, the suit, the helmet, everything. Oh, and he jumped off the track too. This is working out great.
You're running out of time. I want to go green here in a minute.
I'm trying to get people that are on pit road so it's not so loud. But anyway, we will definitely be checking out all these cool paint schemes tonight. And of course, the parade lap is coming up, and I'll be cycling through the field as best I can again. If anybody missed any of those cool looking renders that we showed before, we'll get to see them live on the track as well. So it looks like they're winding up here to go green. The pole sitter this evening with a 47.800, Terry Bombard, in a close second place. Ulysses Sandoval with a 47.801, 1/1000th of a second slower than Terry for the pole. That's how close that is.
Happy hour.
Is that happy hour? I am looking at happy hour. That does not seem. That seems a little bit too quick.
Actually, I was gonna say that was a heck of a pole lap. It was in the 47s.
I've never seen a.
That's not passing post-race inspection. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, I was just saying. I don't remember them being that quick. Sorry, pole sitter Sean Prime with a 51.928. Bernie Mobbs and Kelly Causey is your front three. All right, we got drivers start your engines special edition. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, this is Norm Benning. I hope you guys put on a good show and raise a lot of money in Elmo's honor to help defeat this terrible disease. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, there it is. Thank you to Norm Benning, Craftsman Truck Series driver, for throwing our little Grand Marshal down. That's pretty cool. Like last year, we've had some pretty serious Grand Marshals.
Drivers, start your engines!
Norm Benning, legend in the Truck Series.
Still active
Whenever
too,
I see
right?
him on the entry list for a race.
Still active, and just imagine if he had the money behind him to do it. And the guy does, especially on the dirt tracks, he does really good.
If we run the Truck Series schedule on all dirt tracks, Norm may have a shot at the championship.
Pretty darn good at it, I'll tell you.
Does he play NASCAR race in 2003 season? He might as well.
I don't know idea.
As these guys roll off here on the parade lap, we'll lock onto the pace car and go back through the field as fast as we can here. take a quick look at all these cars. Encore Sports Medicine. That is one of our big sponsors this evening. Jonesy's Barbecue is another one, of course. Jonesy's was on board last year, too. It was super, super cool. Causey Deer Camp. Some of these cars are so good. Wickers. Of course, Rolling Thunder Gaming, driven there by David Canon in the 3. So providing all the services this evening. Track facilities and team speak facilities. A lot of these drivers back in the cars they were racing in last year's event. And also a good crop of new ones. I think it's about 50-50. I think I missed one. No, maybe not. Sometimes when they pass each other, it throws it out of sequencing a little bit.
There are some sharp-looking cars out there.
Yeah.
Easily recognizable, no doubt about that.
Talladega Challenge driven by Josh Batalik. It's a specific Thursday series over at Rolling Thunder Gaming.
And Josh actually going to be going for the Season 64 championship in said series next Thursday night.
Pace car is off. We're getting ready to go green.
There's so many cars out here. We can't get to all of them. This track is not long enough.
Sean Prime's going to be starting on the pole.
Yeah, a couple blue ovals there. Rod, you were commenting on the fact that Chevys seem pretty dominant in the numbers here, but the Ford's fast is in our front row here for the start of tonight's race.
Yeah, a lot more Chevys than everything else. There's a pretty good handful of Fords, a handful of Toyotas, and some Dodges out there. A couple of dark horses.
So now's the usual question. Early stages of a superspeedway race, how aggressive do we get? Because a lengthy one, 76 laps, you want to be around at the end, but if you're mid-pack rear of the field, you want to go forward. So we'll see that third line forming, I think, pretty soon here, and we're already, well, we're bumping. There's stages of pushes here at superspeedways. It starts with a bump, then it starts with a shove, then it goes to a shove, and then it just goes to an all-out, my front bumper is your back bumper. I'm not coming off of you at all.
That's what they call the chrome horn.
That's right.
But you also got to remember, it takes probably pretty much almost 3/4 of a lap really to get these things up to full song. And once they do, as you said before, now they're starting to form a third groove on the outside lane.
Yep.
Garrett, I believe, is in the 77 out there.
High line is moving. I love that spectator camera from the far stretch.
I'll ask you, Seth. It's the kind of thing that me and Blaine always talk about at super speedways. Do you like to run up front, or do you like to just kind of go to the back, let the guys up front, do their thing, and then try to come up through the end at the end?
That is a great question, and honestly, I'm more comfortable at the back, but nowhere is safe. You could be at the front, you could get wrecked. You could be at the rear of the field, you could get wrecked. It just all depends on the situation. With what I'm seeing up here right now, 3 wide for the lead all the way back, I'm one of those tailgaters. I'm running at the very back. I might give a lot of room to even the last car in line, just in case that big one breaks out here in the early going.
Yeah, see, I've always liked to be at the back of it. I can't run up front like that.
How many rows deep are we 3 wide right now? You said 9.
We are at least 8 rows deep right now.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's pretty much the entire field.
There's a 9th row. There's a 10th row.
Yeah.
It just keeps building.
You know what, though? It looks chaotic, but the all-star team that Kelly puts together every single year, if you were in this hornet's nest, you'd feel comfortable. It's white-knuckle driving, but you do trust everybody around you because all these guys are seasoned veterans when it comes to super speedway. The Talladega Challenge over at RollingThunderGaming.com is probably one of the busiest races I've ever been. I've raced in it. I've watched Flat Out Racing Network broadcast it many times. It's insane.
It's insane how they can do that and hold their breath that long.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
I'm focused on my car in particular right now. I'm just trying to keep as many cars on the screen as possible. So I'm currently focused on the 8 of Greg Lovell, right in the middle of this thing.
Well, we've got Jeff Jones of Jones Barbecue in our YouTube chat, and his paint scheme is out in front now. Kelly Causey made a nice move last lap off of turn 2 to the outside of Sean Prime, picked up drafting help from Robert Breedlove, and was able to get the lead before they even entered into turn 3. Bernie Mobbs now moving into that third line and something, or into that third position. And something I was noticing was when Donnie Garrett and company went up to that third lane, it kind of stalled the momentum of both the third and second lines. The inside line started gaining an advantage. So I don't know if maybe the draft wasn't tight enough coming off of the corners for the second and third grooves, or if there's just the fact that they were trying to give each other room, they may have been half throttling and the inside line had better momentum. But usually here, the inside line has to lift a lot more, especially off turn 2. Car gets really tight. So little surprising in the early going to see that the inside line was the prevailing line in 3 wide, several rows deep.
Bernie Mobbs with a move there, got to that Encore Sports Medicine car to the front. Another one of our big sponsors put the move on Kelly.
You're right, too, because it's surprising to bottom, like you said. Usually when you come off, especially off turn 2, the car gets a little bit tight. You either have to put more wheel into it or lift to get it to stick. And it's amazing that they were able to get that bottom group to work the way they did.
It's a very precise line to run. You really got to be perfect down there so your exit doesn't wash up.
A lot of it, though, too, is the momentum. You look at the bottom line, they're running a really good, tight, there's not a lot of pulling out. They're staying right behind each other tight. That makes for better, traveling. As long as you can get up there, maybe a little bump drafting on the straightaway.
Boom! Big wiggle there out of Chuck McClure, that third line. Mark Pagley's doing everything he can to try and get that outside line moving, and there was a little bit of a bump on the entry to turn 1. Chuck was able to gather it up, and that could have very easily been our first yellow of the evening. Now looks like they're going to move down to the middle groove instead. They're doggedly trying to get that second lane going.
Got Randy Waugh. Haven't talked about him tonight. He's qualified up there in the top 6. Now currently running in second. And he wanted to let us know that Corey is watching tonight. So give a shout out to Corey. Dad's in second, doing good.
Well, since Corey is watching, since my broadcast colleague Michael Norman's not here, I'll do it for you, Corey. Randy Waluigi.
Waluigi, there it is. Hey, Seth, I'm going to put you on the spot, man. We got to do some Crank It Up. Which car do you want to follow?
Let's follow that 17. I want to watch that second groove try and make its way up to the top 5.
All right, then. So for those of you who don't know what Crank It Up is, we totally stole it from Fox, but 20 years ago or whatever, they probably still do it. I don't really watch NASCAR much anymore. But anyway, we're going to shut our mics off. We're going to boost the audio. The sound pack that I use for the engines in this game were downloaded from a guy online that were actually created from the Kyle Petty experience. So these are actual V8 engines you're going to be hearing. So it sounds pretty sweet when you get inside the cockpit. So we'll get inside the cockpit like so, and then we'll be quiet. Crank it up. Turn your speakers up as far as you can get them. Well, there you go. Thanks to WickersFoods.com for sponsoring Crank It Up. Head on over to Wickers, established in 1947.
While we were away, that second groove actually got out in the lead there with Sean Prime, and then old slide Rodney Sullins just kind of slid down in front of the 31 and took over the lead on the bottom.
Well, he's the Wickers car. We just had the Wickers crank it up, so
there you go.
So they let him have the lead for that. That's what it was.
Yeah,
the drivers are working with a broadcast. You gotta love it.
Didn't even notice that. That's cool. A third groove out there forming. They're trying to get caught up. They got to get a little bit tighter to get that outside groove going a little bit better than the front.
Jeremy Jeffries from the moment was heading that third line, but he's since jumped down to the middle groove. So now Jason Scheck in the 51 is correction. No, that's actually Scheck's in the 5. That's Steven Brandstetter. Some similar looking number fonts on the 51 and the 5 there. Brandstetter leading that third line. That all of a sudden now they've gained another 5 cars in front of them. Now Chuck McClure goes up to that third groove.
Yeah, about 5 cars abandoned that middle groove, went to the high side in front of Jeremy Jeffries, and they made up a lot of ground there for a little bit.
So Rod, you asked the question, where would I want to be in the field in the early going? I said towards the back of the pack. There's about 7 cars that have adhered to that strategy. Jessica Schulten, Jovan Anderson, Tyler Mallon, last year's winner, Jeff Goodpaster's back there, Alex Moe, Brian Voiles, and Ken Causey. They're still in the draft. They're hanging on to the slipstream right there, but they're not putting themselves up in the middle of this pack. They don't want to be up in the hornet's nest. And for a couple of drivers, it's interesting. That's kind of their MO. Alex Moe, I've seen him so many times. He'll start at the back, he'll ride at the back, and then we get towards the second half of the race. It's up in the top 5, and you go back, you're like, how in the heck did that happen? He just got a talent for being at the back early and then working his way to the front when it matters the most.
Well, especially these tracks here. I mean, these guys have been doing really good, being really cautious. We haven't seen too many incidents. We've had a few cars get a little sideways and, bump rafts on bad, but they were able to save it and continue on moving. But, when that big one happens, you really don't want to be part of it. So I personally think that's the safer bet. We know Blaine, he'd rather be up there leading this thing or in the top 3.
Sometimes. It's definitely nerve-wracking at the start of the race because you don't want to get caught in a weird pit cycle. My biggest thing that I need to work on is pitting at a super speedway because it's tough to stay out of trouble. A lot of these guys are teammates, so it's good to have a crew with you so you all go at the same time. Bob and Tom Dixon, they always pit really early to avoid the traffic.
Talked about the fact that there were some drivers that were unable to make the event, and we had fill-in drivers that stepped right in to make sure that each one of these cars were represented here tonight. One of them is 5th on that inside line. That was originally going to be Brad Otto behind the wheel, but that's Dan Lovell doing the driving duties here this evening, pulling up there to the back of another Lovell, that being Greg in the 8. I gotta wonder for the fill-in drivers. I mean, you got the responsibility now of representing the car. You maybe weren't prepared right out of the gate, and now you got to go out there and you got to race and you got to try and finish well. And I don't know. Like I said, everybody here, all very well versed in super speedway racing, but when you're a fill-in driver, I don't know if there's an extra sense of pressure or not.
I mean, last year, we've talked about it before, Tyler Mallon was a fill-in, ended up winning the thing, so maybe there was no pressure. It was not just able to happen, or it just depends. I guess it just depends on the driver, And they wouldn't be chosen as a backup if they weren't good on super speedway racing, because it's a very, as you can see, it's very tight racing. You need to really have that mindset. You have to know what you're doing out here. They're not just going to pull a random person into this out of nowhere. All these names are very familiar to us and the super speedway community. These guys know what they're doing. And girls, you got Jessica Shelton out there, no slouch.
Well, finally, Chuck McClure has been able to get the outside line clear and go into the lead. And we've got caution, or not caution, but we got an incident on the entry to pit road. We had about a half dozen drivers making some pit stops here. We were about 2-3 laps away from when everybody was going to have to come down pit road, but looks like Randy Waugh and Mike Mangialardi have gotten together. They didn't come back out on the racing surface, so we will remain green.
It looked like Mike Mangialardi lost the back of the car under braking. Caught the back of Randy Waugh's.
He almost got a hold of it, actually. The thing started to go around, and then it snapped. It looked like he was going to save it.
Might see some more coming down pit road this time.
We'll get the wide angle. Here comes a group.
Yep. Bunch of them. Whoa. About a dozen drivers. Oh, and one's going to go around into the wall at least. Mark Paglia. He got Greg Lovell.
In the pits?
In the pits, yep.
They were staying up here at the leaders.
I would also be interested to see about the 096 of Ulysses Sandoval, because he got a bump just past the commitment line from Dan Lovell. And I don't know if that will warrant a speeding penalty or not.
And I'll keep an eye on the stat sheet there. It might throw up a black flag for him. Slow cars up high are the cars that pitted the last couple times around.
Bunch more headed back down pit road.
There's the majority right there, yep.
Oh, Steven Brandstetter out into the grass. He made the commitment line, though, so if he brings it just back onto pit road, he should be okay. Oh,
He's got to wait for his turn in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that was everybody else that needed to pit. Nope, we did have a couple that still stayed out. Jovan Anderson. Some of those drivers that were riding at the back of the pack might have been able to save a little bit of fuel back there, and so they're able to go the extra lap. They'll probably be in this time.
Yeah. They're heading down pit road now. Kind of interesting to see where they come out. Which the good thing is they kind of stayed together. They were drafting well together. So it'll be interesting to see where they come out as considered with the rest of the pack.
Just saw a couple of cars come down ahead of them, including Bernie Mobbs, who started this race from the outside of the front row. Also Brian Wolf. Pretty sure they've already made a pit stop. So this would more than likely be them having to serve a black flag for speeding. Either that or they may have missed their pit stall with all the congestion, had to come back around and back in. But they're more than likely going to be barely on the tail end of the lead lap, or maybe even a lap down once this cycle is complete.
So just as me, or is that a little bit early for pits? Because usually we can get into the 21 lap range.
No, this is right on the mark. Right on the mark.
Okay.
About usually 18 to 20 laps, depending on how much time you spent out in front or how much fuel you've been able to save during a long run. This is right in the window of when they all had to pit. That first group that came to pit road surprised me, though, because that was about 2 laps earlier than projected. I guess they felt the short pit strategy with a smaller group coming to pit road was going to be safer.
Sometimes, yeah, it keeps you out of that traffic, like we were talking before. If you want to pit with 20 cars, you want to pit with 7. You know, we might have better luck with 7. But hey,
I didn't see what the other guys did, but I know that all the BSR cars come down to 4 tires. I was pretty surprised with that. I think they only take, usually take 2. Just, you can take 4 tires and still get the fuel, but most of the guys only take 2 tires at a time just to save that little extra.
Well, the big reason why for that is because if your pit crew makes a mistake on a 4-tire pit stop, then you're going to lose a couple of seconds. So to your point there, Rod, if you just take right side tires or left side tires, a lot of times it depends on if you really smoke that left front as to whether you go with less. Most of the time you go with rights. If a mistake is made, it usually is remedied by the time the 2 cans of fuel are put in the race car.
Currently focused on the 51 of Steven Branstad. He's being shown the black flag. It's probably going to be a drive-through under green. Doesn't show us why, but I'm guessing it might have been a speeding or an exiting penalty. That's basically what can happen under green. Yeah, it was passed through. That'll definitely, unfortunately, put him a lap down.
We got a bunch of drivers right now in trouble that really could use a caution. that if this continues to run green, they're going to find themselves a lap down. Randy Waugh, Brian Wolf,
Luigi.
John Godfrey, Bernie Mobbs, Mark Paglia, David Canon. They've all lost the draft, and they're running anywhere from 18 to 45 seconds behind the race leaders.
Now, staying out that little extra bit, the PSR guys, they lost quite a bit to the main draft. They're a little bit behind that. It's curious to see how they would come out. Even though they weren't really tight together, they were a little split up. They were trying to get around some of the cars coming off pit road and whatnot. But when they got in and got out, like I said, they took 4 tires. They lost a little bit of time.
Tyler Mallon is heading that second pack in the 16th position. They are all single-filed, so they'll make some good straight line speed. Most of the field up ahead of them, they've been kind of straddling double file. Now they've gotten themselves to single file. If Tyler can just get himself to about 1.2 seconds behind the 13 of Mike Mangialardi, he'll get enough draft to be able to drag that entire group up into this lead pack. They're kind of trying to use the now lap machine of Steven Brandstetter to be able to draw them up a little bit closer. Trying to look at lap times here. Tyler leading this group ran a 47.9 on the previous lap, whereas Chuck McClure leading the second group, he ran a higher 47.9. So they're making it up by about hundredths. So they may, in a couple of laps, they may be able to catch up, make this one big pack again.
It's kind of funny to watch them now. You got Chuck McClure out there playing the Pied Piper. Everybody's running straight in the line, other than some of the lap cars that they're passing. They're all just running nose to tail. Nobody's making too many moves right at the moment. And they're just kind of running the laps out. Just as I say that, Sean Pine moves to the high side. They're starting to make it to side-by-side racing again.
Every time you say it out loud.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're running single file for the last, 8 million years, and then they go too wide.
Yeah,
that's always the case. Whatever you say, the drivers will always do the opposite.
Yeah.
I kind of figured they were
hey, we're under a great green flag run, and then the caution. It always happens.
I kind of figured they were just settling down, just run laps, get through another pit stop, whatever, and then they'd start racing at it again. But, be the safer bet. But apparently Sean, even though there's no points for leading the lap or leading the most laps, he wants to get out front and lead this thing.
But you know who loves seeing this side-by-side racing? That second group, because this is stalling out the lap times that this lead group would be running. If that second group continues to stay single file, that's going to help them a ton.
Absolutely.
The number 1 to Jeremy Jeffries driving that Tailgaters car. If anybody's watching this thing at Tailgaters, shout out to you. They've been a big supporter of this race the last 3 years. Easy.
We do have about 4 drivers, about 5 seconds ahead of the leaders. I'd say within the next lap and a half to 2 laps, they're going to get put a lap down. And one thing we'll have to keep an eye on here, if the caution does come out, would be the lucky dog, the free pass. Per the rules here tonight, 2 drivers, the first 2, 1 lap down, would get the lucky dog. Right now we've got 4 drivers already off the lead lap. We would double that total if they catch up to the pack just ahead of them. And so there's going to be a dogfight to be those first 2 cars minus 1 to be able to get back on the lead lap should the caution fly.
Currently locked onto the 56th there, Jeffrey Elliott. He used to run Talladega Nights Racing League. Taking a break from it all, so it's good to see Jeffrey back out on the track. Chris is back there too, driving the number 9, the only car that I painted, sponsored by Ward's Trucks. I like that blue Sunoco sign on TV too. You get a full view of that. I don't know. These are fantastic camera angles, but that Sunoco sign's in the wrong spot. But yeah, good to see Jeffrey out here again. He loves this track. I want to see the Elliots get together, because if you're going to talk about teammates, if you got the same last name, it's a pretty good bet. Chris Elliott currently running in 22nd, Jeffrey 5th.
Well, success for that second pack. They're in the draft, and that now increases what was only a 15-car pack up to a 28-car pack in the hunt for this race lead now.
The outside groove there, they didn't go well with Sean Prime out the front of it. Now they got Jeffrey Elliott out there. You've known Jeffrey to be a really good super speedway driver. So they've kind of, as you said, out of the pack's caught up behind them. They're going to try to see if they can get that outside groove working, get towards the front.
That's a lot more cars joining the fray now.
Yeah, they're starting to catch those cars that you were talking about that were just ahead of them. This is where it gets tricky sometimes. Most of the guys, these guys are good. They'll get out of the way, but running side by side and you run up on a pack of cars like that.
You guys check out the fastest lap currently by Denny Carroll. 202.599.
Wow.
That's an average from start finish line full lap. That's insane.
That is crazy.
That's really fast.
I mean, these drivers are carrying about 200 miles per hour all the way around the racetrack here. You add in the draft that you're getting if you're that 5th, 6th, 7th car in the tail end of a line. I mean, 201 here for these leaders going through the tri-oval.
Yeah, I was following Tyler Mallon in the 18 coming through 3 and 4, and he was actually staying at 200 to 201 through the whole turn in that middle line. So that average, to get an average of 202.5, you've got to be up there. And that's currently Denny Carroll. Definitely not a qualifying speed.
No.
Throwing that back to my mistake. Yeah.
Got a pack of 5 that just got freight trained around the outside. All going a lap down now.
Their goal is to try to stay, at least the 2 guys in the front of that is to try to stay within grasp of being the lucky dog should the caution fall. Which is not going to be an easy task with the way that outside groove is just rolling. They've kind of got back into a single file, just as I say it, they're going back double wild.
I was just going to say that we're going to get creeping up on another fuel window coming up here too, so.
Yep.
There's Mike Mangialardi in the 13 back there.
Yeah, it looks like about 4 laps. We'll see some drivers hit pit road of that first group that dove on for the start of the first cycle of green flag pit stops. And we'll obviously see others follow. Chet McClure has led a majority, if not all, of this run since the green flag cycle was completed. 11 circuits out in front, so you have to think that he's probably going to be one of the first ones onto pit road as well. Being out there in clean air is great. Having anybody in your rearview mirror is great, but you can't save fuel when you're out there.
Absolutely not.
Jeff Jones in the chat rooting for Ken Causey in the 15. Currently in the 38th place. He is 1 lap down, so he'll need some of that lucky dog stuff or some pretty awesome pit stops.
We've already seen pit road play a factor in the drivers that we've got a lap down. Some of them having issues on pit road entry, some having issues on pit road itself, others getting hit by the speeding police, and we're just a few laps away from doing it all over again. Execution on pit road is so difficult. You have to hit everything just right. You have to have precision, and even the best have little mistakes and have to, fortunate for a lot of them, it's early on in this race, though we are approaching halfway through. You make those mistakes near the end of the race, there's no way you're going to come back as, wow, that was close. I don't know if there was a bad bump from Robert Breedlove to Jeremy Jeffries, but his right or left rear almost came down into the right front of Donnie Garrett on the back straightaway, and if that had happened up at the front of the field, we would have more than likely seen a lot of drivers swept up.
Watching McClure, Schilling, and Nostedter there, the 088, they were playing the game pretty good together of changing lanes and trying to keep them 3 together, moving down wherever the momentum seemed to be coming, right up until Garrett got down underneath them, kind of put a stop to that.
We got Mackenzie Weston in the YouTube says, "Hi, Rod Weston, my father. You must know her, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little kiddo.
Thanks for watching, Mackenzie.
Hi, Mackenzie.
Subscriptions to the... Sorry, I stepped on you.
Yeah, it's all good.
I was going to say, subscriptions to the channel are free for the next 10 seconds. Hurry up.
Oh, Chuck McClure!
No.
Contact with Nofsker. He's going to hit the inside wall. That was from the lead.
Yeah.
Nofsker had a little wiggle there, and it shot him down just to the inside of Chuck. I believe that most of those drivers had migrated from the middle of the racetrack to the bottom in preparation for green flag pit stops, and I'm not sure what potential communication error went wrong there, but Chuck McClure paid a steep price for it.
Yeah, it looks like Nofsker just got bottled up. He was actually able to slow it down a lot, but he did tag that wall pretty good. He's definitely going to have some left front damage.
Got drivers on pit road. Donnie Garrett, Randy Waugh, Denny Carroll, Graham McDonald, and David Canon. I believe those are a majority of the drivers that began the first green flag pit stop cycle. Chris Elliott, Jeffrey Elliott have already made pit stops.
There's Chris Elliott there in the Ward Trucks car. WardTrucks.com, another one of our sponsors.
Josh Metallic was able to use that inside groove with the 4 drivers behind him to get out into the lead, and then actually drop to the bottom down in the front of the 4 Schilling, and they have just kind of got themselves situated down there. They're probably getting ready to pit now. That's why they moved to the bottom side. Within a few laps, though, probably get on pit road. We've got a few more coming down pit road right now.
Brian Schilling, contact made. Nofsker spinning through the grass after no contact. He just locked it up, but there was contact between Ulysses Sandoval and Robert Breedlove. Again, all this down below the yellow line, so it's deemed off the racing surface, so we remain green, and that's just a killer, because that's no opportunity then to be able to catch back up to the field. You know that you're going to lose a ton of track position.
And anybody who may have lost some track position after the last pit cycle for the same thing has a chance to gain a little bit back on those guys.
There should be a big group right here.
Yeah, Josh Metallic and the whole group behind him are coming in. It's a big group. 2 lockups. Kelly Causey around.
Kelly
the Cause. Going around in circles there. Under
little
green.
Loop from the 9th position. He was able to get going. He'll lose a lot of spots, but he maybe will still be able to stay in the draft. Not sure about those tires, though. We might have to change them.
Josh Metallic did what I would have probably thought most of the drivers did. He only took left side tires, filled it up with fuel, and he's off.
Currently watching Kelly Causey in that Jonesy's barbecue car.
Haven't talked much about last year's winner, Tyler Mallon, but he just led a lap, and he's coming in now, along with about 5 other drivers.
Grant Wesley was able to beat Josh Metallic out there. He was one of the 4 of them guys who were running together. He's got himself out. I don't know if he'll be in the lead when he gets around. It all depends on where everybody else cycles through, but those guys had pretty good pit stops. The Grant Wesley, Josh Metallic, Rodney Sullins, and I'm trying to find that other car. That would be Mark Paglia. He had great stops.
I've just been told someone has blown up Rodney Sullins.
I was going to say, something happened. I saw some fire.
Oh, man, that's a killer. Caution is out for debris due to the blown engine. And this is going to jumble the field up quite a bit.
It's smoky inside that car.
Pretty close to the halfway point.
That helmet looks pretty cool. Well, he's got it towed to the pits. They're going to see if they can fix it. He's checking for damage here. I don't see any damage. Did it just explode?
Yep, engine failure.
Oh, no.
Random NR blow up. It happens sometimes here at super speedways. Unfortunately, Rodney the victim of it.
Old random Rodney.
We also had a little bit of contact after receiving the yellow. 47 of Dan Lovell got a bump from behind by Graham McDonald. Did a little 360 into the grass and was able to keep going. So I don't think much damage for either driver.
Currently loading up.
I think Dan should be able to get his position back. He crossed the line in 12th.
Yeah, I'm currently loading up here to see if I can find the point. Yeah, it's just a random, 100% random, all by himself. Let's ride along with Rodney if you want to hear what a blown engine sounds like. The instant replay is sponsored in part by Flat Out Racing Network Live on YouTube. Thank you, Flat Out Racing. He's just coming out of the pits. He's gearing up. I wonder if he missed a shift. I can't see that happening.
No, I don't think so. A lot of times your random blowups will take place when you're upshifting, and you can hit them all correctly, hit your points correctly, and
he might have. It looks like he grabbed fourth and then it shifted back down and popped.
Depends on what he's got for a wheel, too.
Did you want to pull Rodney in here? Maybe we can see what happens.
I can try that.
He's still sitting on pit road.
led 6 laps in this race. Had a strong car, was up in the top 5 for a good portion of that long green flag run before the second cycle of pit stops.
Yeah, Rodney Sullins just recently had a little engine failure.
Sorry. Sorry, I had a lot of talking in my ears. What you got there? Sorry.
Live on TARNATION TV there, Rodney. We were just curious. Did you miss a shift?
Yes. I reached up to hit my keyboard and reset my tires. And when I come back, my left hand hit the shifter.
Yeah, we were in the car, and it was like a random engine failure, and I was in the car, and it looked like it popped back to third or second.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But how was it running out there, man? You guys were running amazing. Like, we're having a great race this evening.
And I was having a blast. Made a move and took the lead. Was just having fun, riding out. Kind of pulled out there to go to the outside so that second pack could catch up so we could make a race out of this thing again after the first pits. You know, we were just trying to keep the cars together. Try to put on a good show and have fun. And, my fun ended.
Yeah, well, we're putting on a good show, man, because a lot of these cars are painted by you, and I've been able to get inside some of them and check out the cool paint jobs you've put on these uniforms, like you were saying before. We're going to see if we can jump into the number 3 now of Dave Canon.
Yeah, I painted that car last year, so.
You painted that car this car right here, we're looking at it right now. You painted this car last year, and he hasn't gotten out of this car since last year, and I can understand why. It's a hot-looking rig.
Yeah, he likes that car. I do, too. I think it came out pretty good. He wanted a car, obviously, for RTG, so I threw that together for him. And I guess y'all seen Josh Metallic's car tonight. That's showing the new Talladega Challenge logos for next season. I don't even know if Seth knows about that. But anyway, so yeah, I have a lot of fun painting, man.
Yeah, man, you do great work.
I like how he just casually says, I just threw that together.
Yeah, right?
Right. I mean, the car he painted for me, there's no way he just threw that together.
It's funny, too. I'm just looking at, I'm just going to pull up the paints list here. Do you know how many cars you've painted in this race alone?
I think 16. I painted the 00, 003, the 1, the 39, the 88,
yeah,
the 55,
you're right. 16.
17.
I just counted them.
Yeah, okay.
It's 16, Yep. Wow. No, man, phenomenal work as always. Always like to grab you on the broadcast. Unfortunately, it's a blown engine situation, but yeah, thank you for all the hard work you do, man, because the broadcast only looks as good as the visuals, and I'm not responsible for any of these cars except for the number 9. So you took care of 16 of them.
I did. Enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I enjoy doing that. You know, I'm hoping to get another car that actually makes it out on the track again one day, on a real NASCAR track. So keep trying. But yeah, this is good for Joey St. Amant, Elmo as they called him. Hope we raised some money for him today. Jeff, I'm sorry. I money shifted the car, as the saying goes, and put this Wickers car out. It's my fault. I hope we got a little TV time. It's good stuff. So I apologize, man. But thank you for sponsoring my car for me tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, you do good work, man. And thanks again for coming down to chat with us, dude. Horrible luck about the shift pattern, but, stuff happens. And, yeah, man, thanks again.
Man, thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Rodney. Focus on the floor here of Brian Schilling, sponsored by Jamie Krill. Clutching, of course. Go ahead, Seth. Sorry.
Just a little update on that caution. The 2 free pass cars were the 7-Eleven of John Godfrey, so the Team Elmo Chevrolet gets back in the lead lap, and Mark Hagley in the 28 in the Biloxi Shuckers Chevrolet.
I noticed that
back on the lead lap here.
Noticed that Jeremy Jeffries and a few other cars, I didn't quite catch all the ones that actually went down pit road and pitted again, probably to top off on the fuel. I don't think they can make it from here, but it's more so the fact, like we've talked a lot about Blaine at some of these super speedways, it's sometimes better to stop down there and just top off, so that way you can pit a few laps later than maybe just you and your buddies can just pit together instead of with some random people.
Now, the reason they came down pit road is projected when we go back green. If we do a full fuel run, they could make their final pit stop at 14 laps to go, while most of the rest of the drivers would have to pit with about 16 laps to go. 16 laps to go, you got to take on 2 cans of fuel. You come down with 14 to go, you only got to take a can and a half. And just those little mere seconds that you gain could be track position at the end of the race.
Very good information. Getting ready to go back green. Alex Moe's on the inside. Leader Tyler's at the outside.
Got 38 drivers still running, 31 of them on the lead lap with the addition of 3 pass cars. Going to be 33 laps to go as we cross the halfway threshold. I said Alex Moe has a knack of getting up to the front late in the races. There he is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, new leader, 48. One track you do not want to race in, that is Michigan. That guy is just wicked at Michigan.
Oh, both the 2-mile racetracks, Michigan and Auto Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's similar pattern, right?
Talked to them a little bit. We talked with him a little bit on Tuesday, and I asked him if there's any tracks that he's not really good at. I think his only comment was road course.
Every single road course on planet Earth. There you go. So he's really good at 2 tracks, but he's not really good at thousands of tracks. Is that what he's saying? If he says something road courses, there's thousands of road courses, and he's not good at any of them.
I didn't say he's not good at any of them. It's not his favorite.
Just not a fan.
I've had so many drivers tell me they're not good at a particular track. We go to that track, and they're up in the top 3, and it's like, okay, what do you consider not good?
Yeah, you better park it and retire.
I'm back here in 18th. You're on the podium.
That's like me at Martinsville. I used to be really, really good at Martinsville, and I still am. Don't get me wrong. I ran with a league that I would just go there and dominate every time that we did it. And one guy asked, "Hey, can I try your setup out?" I no longer dominated that.
Oh, he gave away the family recipe.
Oh, he gave away to everybody.
Yeah, your race leader right now, the 48, sponsored by the Dog House. That's a dog spa in Biloxi.
Oh, cool.
Yep. According to the notes on the sponsors that I'm carrying around with me, the Dog House is Dog Daycare of Biloxi. There we go.
Here you look at a few of these drivers up here, like Mo, Tyler Mallon. Got a couple of the other Voiles Trucking's cars back there of Brian Voiles. I believe he is the one on the bottom. Jovan Anderson in the 93 up there in the third lane. A lot of these drivers add the 33 of Jeff Goodpaster into this mix. The timing of that yellow really helped them out because when the yellow flew, they had just come onto pit road to make pit stops. So they only had to get to the start-finish line to be able to still be the leaders while the rest of the cars were still coming around the racetrack to receive the caution. So that yellow could not have happened at a better time for them.
So the yellow came out when they were already on, they were committed to pit.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, because then if you weren't committed to pit, you would get charged with entering a closed pit. But if you're already on the pits, you went in when it was open, you can still get service.
Yeah, like
Spinner! Goodpaster around! Catches air! Ken Roberts involved as well. This is going to be the big one. It's in the tri-oval. The track is completely blocked.
My goodness.
I saw all that happen. I'm not sure where it started.
33, I think, got a bad bump and went straight down into the middle and inside lines. I see Randy was involved. I think Greg Lovell may have gotten a piece.
A lot of people
we
got
may
a
have
piece.
gotten lucky, guys. I don't know if there's such a thing as a harmless big one, but the 33 never went completely over. The 55 never went completely over, and most drivers got on the brakes very quickly. There may have been very light contact. You commented on it, Rod, the fact it's moderate damage here tonight, so I'm going to have to look through here, but I'm not necessarily certain anybody is done for the night or going to be off the pace. This may have been one of the calmest big ones I've ever seen.
That, if there is such a thing, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like an oxymoron, but it may actually be a thing.
It literally depends on, like you said, if somebody in the back starts to lift, they drive through the accident. A lot of times it can be a really good, the best big one that you can have, I guess is the way to put it.
It's in a good spot on the track too, because there's a lot of space here, right? There's a lot of grass. You're just able to rewind that a bit. It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't look like there's, it doesn't look like there's too much damage to anybody, really. Oh, I think I lost it. I hit the wrong button. Oh, gracious.
There was a lot of 360s being happening there, though.
Yeah.
A couple of drivers had some front-end contact.
Some of the drivers were just checking out to see if their pilot's license were still valid.
Yep.
They didn't get too high, but they were just making sure they could fly.
You're looking for an onboard of who got a good view of just about everything and was able to snake his way through. That 47 of Dan Lovell did a heck of a job.
The 47, okay, we'll check it out. Yeah, we're getting a wide angle here of it now. A lot of guys did get rolled up pretty good.
Yeah, Donnie Garrett, Randy Waugh made some contact with the front end of their cars. Relatively light contact. They'd be the ones I'd have question marks about. A lot of times you never know if these cars are going to have to deal with aero damage and won't be able to stay in a draft until we get up to full speed. It looks like some harmless contact for those two, but with it being the front end where the engine is housed, we're going to have to wait and see.
So who is the onboard you wanted? 47?
47, yep. I've also been told the 93 of Jovan Anderson claiming the incident, so he'll be pitting the second time by and starting at the tail of the field for this upcoming restart.
So let's go on board with the 47 and see what he saw from the roof camera. You're right, this is pretty crazy.
timing tonight has been very interesting. We had the sponsored car for Crank It Up out in front when we did the Crank It Up. Rod will say that they're single file, and then they'll start going double file on us. And just with this onboard, with Dan Lovell filling in the car for Brad Otto tonight, he popped up in our YouTube chat. So good to see you, Brad.
Just in time to watch his car go through it all.
That's right.
Yeah, amazing
Amazing
records
job
on that one. That was
Dan
wild.
Lovell. I think I was trying to keep track of that Tyler Mallon was the first car off pit road. It's trying to decide if it was him or Alex Moe.
Oh yeah, what name is Tyler? Oh yeah, he's BSR Tyler tonight. Yeah, okay.
Right.
The reigning champion won last year, and we're currently focused there on the 088 of Novsker. He actually won the first year we did this. So 2003 winner, currently running in 18th. 2004 winner, currently running in 3rd. So let's do, I think we got to do another Crank It Up, right? I mean, coming off the yellow flag, we go green, we'll get inside a car. So, Rod, who do you want to do?
Gosh, let's see. Let's do inside of Denny Carroll.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get locked down to Denny. The Crank It Up is really cool when you get to watch them go through the shifting. Who's the lucky dog up there? That looked like Brian Wolf.
Yeah, 29 is going to be one of the lucky dog cars. Looking to see who the second car is going to be. Looks like it's going to be the 51.
See, my stats are showing him. He's not. How many lucky dogs do we have? He's like 4th.
We have 2. So the reason, so I've got the same scoring thing that you do. The reason it's showing them not as the first 2 is being the lucky dogs. They were able to spend a little extra time on pit road, even though they came off of pit road, crossed the line. Behind some other lap machines, they were the first 2 cars 1 lap down when the yellow flew.
Gotcha. Oh, it's a yellow. I gotcha. They're going back to when the yellow actually came out.
So the 5 was one of the ones that stayed out. Angelardi, who is the lap down, stayed out. Now they're all headed down pit road right now. Should hand it over to either, I believe it's Tyler.
Because Scheck did get credit for leading the lap.
It should be Jeffrey Elliott.
Okay, so he hasn't pitted yet. Don't think Jeffrey Elliott has pitted yet. I know that
Jeffrey Elliott has not. Let me see. He's pitted 3 times, but I don't know if he's pit on this cycle. Yeah.
I can't confirm he has not pit under this caution. And a big reason for that potentially could be, I'm being told for a lot of drivers right now, their fuel is fluctuating between a can to a can and a half. So if Jeffrey Elliott is already projected a can and a half, he feels that the track position is more important, and more than likely, when he makes his pit stop, the rest of the leaders and the rest of the field are going to be on pit road only, 2-3 laps later.
Well, and the thing with Jeffrey Elliott, if you've ever raced with this guy, and I have for years, if anybody can somehow create fuel from not going down, I don't know how he does it. He somehow will make a car get to the end and fuel window opens at 20, and he'll somehow get it to go 23 laps. I don't know how this guy does it. So for Jeff to stay out and not get gas doesn't really surprise me. But it definitely makes me excited to pay attention to what the 56 is going to do as these laps are counting down.
Maybe you've been in a few of the cars tonight. Maybe you want to check his seat. His seat might have a methane capturing device that gives him a little more fuel mileage.
Let's check.
Something we'll want to keep an eye on here in this restart. Being told the 17 of Chuck McClure's restart in the 8th position, no 3rd gear. So restart might be a little bit interesting here for the driver that has been out in front for 10 circuits so far here tonight.
And we're going to get inside Denny here. We're going to do the Crank It Up. Yeah, finish the thought there.
That's tricky though, because at certain tracks that you can do a 2nd to 4th bang and be all right. Yeah, that's going to hurt him here.
All right, let's crank up your speakers as loud as you can. We'll shut our mics off for a couple laps. Crank It Up, of course, sponsored by Wickers Foods. Thanks again to Wickers for sponsoring Crank It Up and a bunch of other stuff this evening. You want some good old-fashioned food products? Head on over to wickersfoods.com. Tell them we sent you.
Well, things were getting really wild through the trial that last time by. You had Tim Nofsker, Kelly Causey, Ken Roberts. They were trying to make a third line for him. They picked up Randy Waugh. Donnie Garrett tried to get up there, and they all started checking up. That put Tim Nofsker up in the fourth lane, which you do not want to be in because hardly anybody's going to go up there and try and help you in that situation. They sorted it all out. Massive checkup in the middle of the pack, though. All these drivers, they're stuck. They want to go somewhere.
Nofsker in the fourth lane. I'm going to go find that. That's cool. I'm going to load up a replay of that one.
See, Kelly Causey started the 0-0 there, started to make a move on the outside, and then got a couple of cars. Randy Waugh, Garrett, Donnie Garrett just jumped up in front of him, so they're trying to make a third groove work right now. We're getting down close to 20 laps to go, so now it's time. If you want to try to see if you can win this thing, you got to start working your way towards the front.
We went back green on lap 50 going on to 51. So for pretty much the majority of the field that all came to pit road under that yellow, we're looking at the final pit stop being at less than 10 to go, somewhere around the 7-8 laps to go mark. You talk about a money stop. That's going to be a money stop here if it ends up taking place under green, as we nearly had another wreck. Some contact there around the 10th position. Donnie Garrett and Jeremy Jeffries getting together. Fortunately, Jeremy had a space behind Brian Rawson and in front of Denny Carroll to gather that number one machine and keep it going. We've had some near misses here tonight. I'll tell you what, we've only had so far 2 yellow flags, one for cause, one for mechanical failure, but if we had these near misses take place, we'd probably be around 6-7 cautions in.
Well, and these near misses, too, these guys are pros. Somehow they know how to collect that. That is wild. That one got way out of shape. And there's, the 41 right behind him. Denny Carroll there, just give him a lot of space to recollect his thoughts, as they say. Maybe they'll grab a clean pair of trousers.
We talked about Jessica Sheldon earlier. Currently, last time across the line running in the 11th position. We know how positions are here. They change. Currently running in the bottom group, just staying out of trouble. That Toyota Camry, I don't know the sponsor on it. So I think it's something to do, or something about her years of racing or something. Seth would probably know more about that. I think he probably painted it.
Yeah, I don't exactly have the full information on it. The sponsor is 20 Reed. And it actually is on the side of a vehicle, and that's what this paint scheme is based off of. That's the actual livery that is on the vehicle. And I'm not exactly 100% certain what the sponsorship entails.
You want me to tell you?
Yes, absolutely, if you've got those notes.
The 20 car being driven by Jessica Shelton out of Florence, South Carolina, sponsored by Read 20. Read 20 Minutes to Your Kids program. Friend of Joey.
Very nice.
There you go.
Wayne Ruddlefitch. Read 20 minutes to your kids.
Now, is that 20 minutes or 20 seconds? Because I don't like to read, so 20 seconds sounds fine to me.
I'm with him. I'm with Seth on that one.
That's a super cool sponsor, though, man. Read 20 minutes to your kids, and that's basically all it is. But yeah, they paid for the car, and Rodney painted that car. And yeah, Wayne Ruddlefitch, I hope I'm saying that right, was a friend, of course, of Joey St. Amant.
Some of these other drivers you've got up here too. I mean, in super speedway racing, there's always comers and goers. 4th position right now, you got that 222, Greg Palmer, one of the Team Elmo tribute schemes here tonight, solidly inside of the top 5. Terry Bombard right behind him in the 10. I think he was another driver that benefited on the timing of our most recent yellow. And Ulysses Sandoval behind him in that 096. The ALS-sponsored race car.
Talked much about your man tonight. He's been kind of hanging out in the back. He's one of those guys that just stayed out of trouble now. It's a big wreck.
That, I believe, is the 60 of Brian Rawson, I'm sorry.
Rawson, yep.
It was just off camera. We will rewind that and get you that back.
Mike Mangialardi, Mark Paglia collected up as well. Was that really only 3 cars?
Ryan was executing his pilot's license there for a minute. He got a little air on that one.
Little bumper grab, it looks like.
Now, this
might have been Kraig Hagley that he bumper grabbed off of. And amazingly, only 3 cars swept up. And I'm being told there was a follow-up wreck, which I'll check on here in a minute.
Yeah, let me know when you find the follow-up. I'm watching Rawson right now on the 60 from helicopter cam. Let's see what happened here. Oh, the 96 got out of shape in front of him, and it just... Yeah, he did get a little air underneath, but it landed on his wheels. Back that up and get a different angle on that.
Follow-up incident was off of turn 2 as the field was catching up to the pace car. Some checkup on the bottom. Godfrey got a bump from behind by Graham McDonald, and then Greg Lovell got swept up in it as well. I also did find out that the follow-up wreck we had under the second caution that involved Graham McDonald had his game freeze, so...
Oh. Rawson's lucky those tires didn't hook.
About everybody down pit road, I would imagine the ones that didn't pit are going to be the ones that are a lap down or more.
You said there was a follow-up wreck in turn 2 after the yellow came out? Is that
correct? Involved the 7-11, the 24, and the 8. I don't think there was really any contact.
Oh, okay.
Noticeable contact for any of them, so they should be good to go.
Yeah, because they're coming around to the back straightaway to slow down so they can take the pace car and get it all sorted out.
2 lucky dogs.
Yeah, they're just running out of space.
2 lucky dogs should be the 21 of Randy Waugh, the 003, just the 3, but it's labeled as the 003 of Dave Canon.
Right, yeah, he's the zeros. You don't, if they're in front of your number, you don't have to put them on the car. So Dave will run the 3, even though it's the 003. Because Rolling Thunder Gaming, a very massive, it's a massive league. It's been around for a long, long time. They retired the 3 when Dale Earnhardt Sr. died at Daytona. So you can still put the 3 on your car. You just can't run the 3, if that makes any sense. That's why on the ticker he's 003.
Well, this is caution number 3, and it's an important one because this gets us home. Pit road no longer will be a factor. We are good to make it the rest of the way on fuel.
Grant Wesley was the first one off pit road with Alex Moe. Believe
Moe is currently being shot in second. So
U-Man got out there in third, and then here we go. I got 17. Chuck McClure, sorry about that, Chuck, but he came out in fourth.
So the cars in front of the 88 are kind of trapped between him and the pace car. That'd be like a wave around spot, right? But they'll probably end up going down pit road.
I think so. But just to make sure they can make it on fuel.
So they got to wait, right? They can't go into a lap down. They got to wait a lap. We've already done one, yeah. So some cars going down pit road there.
Bernie Mobbs and Ken Causey, they may take the wave around here. I mean, it's not bad strategy, right? You're a lap down. We're closing in on the end of this race. You could get back on the lead lap this way and potentially have a caution come out. You're already still on the lead lap. You don't know if you'll be one of the first 2 cars a lap down if a caution comes out. So I like this call. If you run out of fuel on this strategy, I still like the call, especially late in the run.
Absolutely. You've got, we're short on laps, but if we're at, Talladega, business is going to start picking up. Anything can happen. You get out there, you get in, you get a chance to fill it up and then make it to the end. Who knows? They could still even come from the back and win it. Just depends on how the last few laps unfold.
Interesting as I look at our top 10. Grant Wesley going to lead us back to green. Donnie Garrett right now being scored in 5th. Josh Metallic back there in 10th. Those 3 going to be in a bare-knuckle fight next Thursday night in the season finale for the Talladega Challenge Series. Championship on the line. They're not doing it here, though. They'll be at the other alternate track, Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway, along with Dunlap-Brad. See who's going to be hoisting that championship trophy. So I don't know. Maybe between the 3 of them tonight, little bragging rights going into that championship race.
I was just reading down through some of the YouTube comments. Jeff Jones says Kelly Causey is getting back into it. Action now.
Yeah, I don't know. We're about 13 laps out. Is it time for the who you got Surratt prediction, maybe?
Yeah, we haven't heard that from him yet. Getting down to it, he's got to figure out who's going to win this thing.
Right, so Randy Watt and Dave Canon, they are going to get the free pass. 31 of Bernie Mobs, 15 of Ken Causey will take the wave around. That will leave us with 37 drivers on the lead, lap of 38 cars running. Mike Mangialardi going to be the only lap machine, so any future yellows, he would be the only recipient of the free pass.
He had the opportunity to take the wave around, but he decided to go down pit road. It could still benefit him, just being the fact that the two guys that took the wave around, if this goes green all the way, they end up not being able to make it. They have to get at least a couple more positions. Not in points race, but do they do cautions within 10 less laps to go? Do they get wave rounds, I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, if caution comes out, he being the only car one lap down, he's got himself in position.
Also notable, that most recent yellow came out with more than 15 laps remaining, so field was frozen at the time. Now with this restart being less than 15 to go, all cautions will be raced back.
Be mindful that this league does do they do the restart side by side. So, and then the first car has the choice.
Grant Weston could be that control car. Interesting. It's been a who's who of who's been out front in this race here tonight. Chuck McClure's led the most laps, 17 circuits out in front. 8 laps led for Tyler Mallon, 7 each for Jeffrey Elliott and Bernie Mobs. Rodney Sullins, who's out of the race, he led 6. Grant Wesley has led 5, about to lead his 6th when we come around here to the green. 4 laps led for Alex Moe, 2 circuits out in front for Josh Metallic, Sean Prime, and then 1 lap each for Jason Scheck, Kelly Causey, and Ulysses Sandoval.
No, Surratt's asking Seth, are you ready?
I'm ready.
He wants to know. We're ready to tell us
we're ready.
Win this. Back green. Grant Weston on the inside, Alex Moe on the outside. Grant Weston's getting a good push by the Ulysses Sandoval. Monty Garrett pulls up behind Alex Moe. Abandons the bottom sides to go up to the high side with him.
Oh, spin in the back. Oh, multiple cars. This is going to bring out another yellow. Bunch of smoke there.
Yeah, a bunch of the sponsored cars too. The 1, the 9.
David Cannon, who had just gotten back on the lead lap via the free pass.
Well, it's going to put everybody back on the lead lap now. Mike Mangialardi is the next one in line. And
now the race is to the line. Grant Wesley's still out front.
Pretty wide.
He is using every bit of the track to try to go where the momentum is.
You know, he used to be a driver in the NASCAR Cup Series that had an 88 on his car that was very good at controlling all the lanes of the Superspeedway.
The Pied Piper.
Oh, now you're making me think about stuff. Was that Jarrett?
No. The Pied Piper Jr.
He said 88.
He ran the 88 at Hendrick Motorsports.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
What number was Jarrett?
88 but that was back in a Ford at Yates Racing.
So I'm not losing my mind then. That's good.
That's questionable there, but yeah.
I haven't watched NASCAR in a while.
That Junior was running the 88. I think Dale was in the 44 at the time for Michael Waltrip Racing.
I believe you're correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he actually got the Pied Piper name when he was running the 8 Budweiser car, but it's just that Earnhardt talent that they can just get the wind, to understand the wind. Of course, if you listen to some of his podcasts and stuff, Engine 11 had something to do with that.
I'm not too certain, but I think the 711 may have had an engine failure on the upshift to 4th, because I'm watching it back, and as soon as he jumps from 3rd gear to 4th gear off of turn 2, the closing rate is unusually fast between himself and the 47 of Dan Lovell.
Hmm. While we're under yellow, you can grab him if you want to talk to him.
We'll see if we can get a hold of him, go inside the helmet of what happened with that Elmo Tribute 711 machine.
Gotta find him.
Found about 10 cars involved in this wreck here. Hey John, it's the guys up here in the booth here. Have you got us?
Yeah, I guess this is the only way I'm going to get any airtime tonight, Seth.
Well, we were just a little perplexed on what happened there off of turn 2. Was it a missed shift? I was trying to dissect it there. It looked like when the 3rd to 4th gear transition took place, the car just lost speed.
I wish it was a missed shift. That means I'd still have 4th, but no, I went to 4th off of 2 and it wasn't.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked tonight about you guys being some of the best in the business in super speedway races, and sometimes it's just things out of your control. That obviously being one of those things, but I mean, up until that point, you'd been on the lead lap, you'd been running up there inside of the top 10, top 15 for most of the evening. We've been kind of trying to get a pulse on this field, and we've seen some really good aggressive racing, but some clean aggressive racing as well. How fun has it been to be a part of?
It's been fantastic. Yeah, this is one heck of a talented group Kelly's put together, and the racing has been awesome.
Well, obviously, you know, not the reason we'd want to drag you up here, but we were trying to get a little confirmation of what happened there. Hopefully we can see you run this thing out to the finish, maybe pick up a couple of spots before all is said and done. Enjoy the rest of this race out there. Obviously, hardship for you, but thanks for talking to us.
Well, yeah, thanks, guys. It was an up and down night. I caught that speeding penalty early on, and then got the lucky dog to get back in it, and I thought my fortunes had turned around. But yeah, I'm going to limp around here in 3rd gear, and because I think once the pay window opens, it's going to get a little intense in here. You never know what I might be able to pick my way through.
There you go. Well, John, best of luck here the remainder of this race, and once again, thank you for taking the time here to be able to chat with us up in the booth.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for covering this race.
Thanks, John. David Canon has retired.
Milt Surratt says, I mean, obviously he's taking the guy that's on the front, but he is picking Grant Wesley. I think he's wrong. You got Alex Moe on the outside here. I think Alex Moe is going to take this.
Well, I'm going to go with a guy that's in our chat, a friend of mine, Kyle Matthews. He says don't count out that 096 of Ulysses Sandoval, and I agree with him.
He's not a bad pick.
Ulysses is coming off a runner-up finish last Thursday night at this very racetrack. He's had 3 runner-up finishes in this current season of the Talladega Challenge Series. He has turned into a very good super speedway racer, so I think he could have something to say about this before all is said and done.
And a recent championship win over, I think it's PRL, in a truck series, super speedway only night, and he won the championship there this last season. That's a good pick. One thing we haven't seen, though, is getting down to the end of the race, and none of the BSRL guys they're not all together.
Yeah, they got separated after that restart following the second yellow flag. Tyler's really been the only one able to stay up here inside of the top 10. It's like Joven and Brian are pretty close to each other in the latter portion, just at the very tail end of the top 20. But you heard what John said, though. Starting to feel like business is picking up, and some of those drivers we're talking about right now back in the top 15, top 20. It may only take about 2-3 laps, have a big multi-car wreck at the front. We'll be talking about them up inside of the top 5, top 10.
In the 13, as we talked about, he said he pitted. The cat caution came out, so now he is going to be our lucky dog.
So that will put all of our remaining running drivers on the lead lap, 37 in total. Blaine, you alluded to David Canon out of the race. Watched it back, he took some pretty hard shots with the front end of that race car, so more than likely was not going to have a competitive race car for the remainder of the night.
Mangrum goes around, so like you said, that'll put everybody on the lead lap.
Mangialardi,
sorry. I said Mangrum. I got to do that. It's
he's not in here tonight.
Yeah, I know.
He is real. He's just not in this race today.
I know. Yeah. Long day.
So I'm so used to 66 lap events with projecting when that point of no return is going to be. We got an extra 10 laps here tonight, so with Mangialardi getting back on the lead lap too, that actually shifts it. If we had a caution come out on lap 62, then the race would be over. That's the start of lap 62, but we can go until the completion of lap 62 until a caution comes out now to end the race. So point of no return would be at the start of lap 63. Or I'm sorry, not 63, 73. I'm still thinking in the 66 laps.
Had me confused for a minute, but then I figured it out. You got the guys kind of figured out, but look back a little bit. What do you think of the guys behind a little bit? You got Tyler Malin back there, Greg Palmer, Reed Love. Any one of these drivers, and even Mangrum could win. Mangialardi could win it. Just he's back on the lead lap. If his car's good, he can still have an opportunity to win it. C's a good apart, but still, we got laps enough. He could probably be the one that comes up through the field and wins it.
Well, the odds were never going to be that great for us having a repeat winner of the event. Tyler Malin looking for back-to-back victories up here in 8th. Tim Knopfsker, we haven't really mentioned his name a lot here for the last 15 laps or so. He's mired back in the 21st position. A lot of drivers up here looking to win this special event for the very first time, and when we get this green, there's going to be 7 laps remaining.
Green flag is back out. Grant Wesley got a good run.
Outside line was a little better with the first 2 rows. Bit of a gap from Wesley back to Sandoval, but now a gap again. Remember, Chuck McClure doesn't have that 3rd gear.
Well, that's right, too. Ulysses Sandoval pulled up behind Alex Moe, bringing Grant. I'm going to 77.
Donnie Garrett.
With him.
The Mardi Gras car.
Then you got Greg Palmer, Robert Breelove. They all made that inside groove work, and then just left Grant Wesley hanging right there with no help.
Yeah, really. That's how quickly it can happen, from the front row, just lost about 5 spots that quick.
Now it's up to Alex Moe to just trying to keep. He's paying more attention to that rearview mirror than he is in that out of the front of that car. Ulysses Sandoval just is stuck right to him, giving him really good shots down the front part of it. Releases him a little bit on the corner so that he doesn't spin him out, and he's right back to his rear bumper, giving him a hard push. Grant Wesley's got that inside line kind of started to form up. Robert Breelove pulled down there in front of him. The whole
look at that bump.
That was
holy moly.
They all started reacting. The move was back around 6th, 5th moved down, 4th moved down, all the way up to the front, and Moe with just a little late block there on Sandoval made some contact. Somehow we didn't even have bumper grab come into play.
No.
And Greg Palmer, I thought was going to lose all that, but now they're back up into the high side and got in front of him. He really didn't lose that much time out there just kind of running by himself.
Alex Moe started this race from 36th. This is a typical thing out of him. Starts at the back of the pack, works his way to the front. He's putting some pretty good defensive blocks on. Moves down now to Breedlove. Oh, Palmer! That's going to be another big one. We got one up and over. That's Tyler Malin. Metallic caught air, and they're still wrecking up into the entrance of turn 3.
I gotta
Bernie
get to the front.
Mobs has caught air.
I gotta get to
Jason
the front.
Scheck was up and over. Gracious.
We'll check out the wreck after. We're just watching the race back to the line right now. I had to get back to the front of the pack here.
Yeah, it's going to be close for second.
Very close for second.
Breedlove was able to get it in there.
Yep.
And this
Alex Moe did an excellent job, excellent clinic on just the proper way to keep an eye on the idea on the lines behind you and just stay in front of the one that was coming.
So we got some smoke out there. Oh, wow. Brian Schilling in the 4. I'm just loading up replay here. His car is mangled.
Jovan Anderson smoking, trying to bring it back to the start-finish line. I mean, his car went flying all over the place. So too did Tyler Mallins. The thing of it is, too, a lot of these hits, a lot of these impacts were a lot more violent because as you were panning back up there to the front, that was the battle back to the line for the win. All these drivers realized it. This was the race-ending yellows, so everybody was trying to quickly make their way through all the smoke, all the debris to pick up all the spots they possibly could.
Well, Schilling got hit by everybody. Who's that car on his door in the middle there? That's one of the Voiles rigs. Oh, that's the 18. Is that Mallon? Yeah, it is. That thing got off the track.
Just the mistiming of a move led to that wreck. Greg Palmer moved up to the 3rd lane. Donnie Garrett went up there to cover, and Palmer was already to his right rear. The dreaded bumper grab at a super speedway, shot the 222 into the wall, back out into the field, and it was just on from there.
Well, Mallon's car did not want to roll back over onto his wheels, so that might be one worth going for a ride in. Let's see what that looks like from cockpit view.
You don't think we're going to go back green? Want to go?
I don't think so. I think we crossed the threshold there. Came back to complete lap 73.
Well, Uncle Milty was wrong. I was right. Just want to note that.
Put a 1 on the scoreboard there?
Yeah. I was waiting for him to comment, but he hasn't commented yet.
It's about 20 seconds before YouTube will hear your comment. The 20-second delay to YouTube from us live.
Maybe one of the toughest places to get through a wreck is a corner wreck. And that was from the back straightaway all the way over to turn 3. You don't know what direction those cars are going to be sliding. They could be going up the banking. They could be coming down the banking off the wall.
Yeah, there's a lot of tarmac back there, but you know, where do you go, right? Did anybody get through it? I'm looking for that guy who threads the needle. Or girl, maybe it was Jessica.
A lot of people that were behind it got swept up.
Not just going down through the field. We haven't talked much, but Graham Donald out there, you had mentioned him, the other Canadian driver.
Yeah.
But the only Canadian driver on the field tonight, that Tito's Vodka Chevrolet, looks pretty good. Jessica Sheldon's going to be, per if this thing goes, like he says, end up with a 9th place finish. Not too shabby.
Yeah, like Seth was saying, that was the big one that happened earlier was kind of like a nice soft one. This one hits way harder.
Oh, yeah.
Business always pick up at the end of them.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. You know, when you get down to it, everybody's going to go, they're pushing a little harder. When it happens, granted, too, the other kind of part about it is you race back, too. So being that you're racing back, you're trying to make up as many positions as you can. That sometimes plays into it.
A fantastic race, though. A long race with 76 laps. We had an hour-long pre-show. This broadcast has only been live for 2.5 hours. So to get 75 laps so far out of the way that quick It's been a great show.
Yeah, we had some long green flag run there first half of this race. A lot of the big cautions taking place second half of the race, which is typical. You know, the pay windows getting closer.
Yeah, and the strategies there too, right? You know, the pit strategy at the, I mean, again, when you're under green flag conditions, you're able to pit successfully. You're seeing these guys up front now, you know, getting that track position.
So Milt says that he's 3 out of 7. So I imagine, has he been pretty good, Seth, on Thursday night?
Yeah, he has. I'm still waiting for a 1 in the win column on my end. I think I'm 0 for 14, something like that. We call it the commentator's curse. We try not to talk too much about somebody because next thing we know, next corner they're barrel rolling, and then the blame's put on us.
Well, that's what I was going to do. I was looking at the 222. I was being like, hey, you know, Greg Palmer's driving a tribute car to Joey, and it was sponsored by Shane Switzer. But just as I was opening my mouth to say it, he went around, and the yellow comes out. I'm like, I was thinking it. I didn't even say it.
Is there going to be a link for people that actually get the chance to watch this race later if they want to still donate to the cause? Is there going to be a link in the the YouTube channel?
Yes. There's a link below this video right now in the description that will take you to the website for the Team Elmo 200 donations. Or scroll to the bottom and you'll see the links. You'll see a link to the broadcast on there too, but then there's donate links at the bottom.
Made over $4,000 last year. We need to make a little bit more this year.
Yep.
Flagman just displayed the white flag and the caution over the hood of the 48 of Alex Moe. I've never actually found out if there's a universal decision as to what the flagman's name is. I know Fox gave the iRacing flagman the name Barney.
Oh, did they when they were in COVID there and they were running it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what this... I'd say Fred Jones, but that's the 83, right?
That's the driver.
Yeah.
Unless he retired and went up to the flag stand.
And there was a lot of fake drivers, but for some reason I only remember Fred Jones. There was a lot of made-up drivers that weren't real drivers. They might have been Papyrus employees, I don't know, but Fred Jones always seems to be the one that... But there's a whole crew of them. There's a whole bunch of made-up drivers that launch with the game. I just can't remember their other names. It's always Fred. That is kind of a thing. I wonder why nobody's they've never given that guy a name.
No.
This is the first time.
Give us some ideas.
It's the first I've heard of it, so.
Just call him Seth Weston.
Oh, gosh.
or
how about Rod Cole? Rod Cole.
Yeah. But spell Cole, by Rod, C-O-A-L. Yeah.
That works out really good when I'm racing with Rodney Sullins. When I'm playing golf with one of the guys out there that's named Rodney. Go by Rod, not Rodney.
Yeah. Well, the lights never went out on the pace car, so the checkers will be up in the air. Fastest lap of the night, too, remains 202.599 miles per hour. Denny Carroll, a screaming lap.
And obviously we had a few more drivers out of the race there, but how cool that 34 of the 39 drivers still get to make it to the checkered flag here tonight.
On the lead lap.
Yep.
Everybody's on the lead lap. And the 5 we lost due to accidents.
And I guarantee you, those 3 that retired from that wreck, they retired because their cars didn't refire. Otherwise, I think they would have still rolled around here under pacing to finish this one out as well. But Alex Moe picking up the victory here tonight after starting out back. Reed Love stayed up front all night. After starting 5th, Grant Wesley rolled off the grid 10th. We'll bring it home on the podium, 3rd place.
See all the drivers coming up, congratulating Alex Moe. A little love taps.
It wasn't easy keeping him behind him. He almost went around up the nose of Ulysses Sandoval with about 5 laps remaining. Timed that block just right. we've got that third place driver, Grant Wesley here. Grant, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Man, I'll tell you what, a dogfight out here tonight. We talked about the fact there's no championship, no points. Driver mentality with a special event seems to go to an entirely different place, especially when it's a race like this for a great cause. You were up in the thick of it all night long in the conversation to win this thing. Had to have been a blast from the driver's seat.
Oh man, I love these special events. Kelly, such an awesome dude. Putting this on for to raise money for ALS. And, we all love racing, and we all love getting out here and just not having any points on the line and just putting on a good show. I think you've seen that tonight. Had a great group of drivers. I've seen a lot of 3 wide. Man, I've seen everywhere from the back of the field back up towards the front. So I know there's a lot of passing going on.
All over the place, but you found yourself up front late in this one, in control of that final restart. Kind of got caught out there off of turn number 2. Did that take you by surprise? Were you prepared for it? What was the situation there?
Oh yeah, it kind of caught me by surprise a little bit, but it's super speedway racing. You just kind of roll with the punches, and you just try to turn a negative into a positive, and just try to come back.
Rod, Blaine, you guys got any questions here for Grant?
Well, we was on the chat there. Milt was he picked you to win, and of course you didn't prove him right. But I picked Alex Moe, and I'm sorry, Grant. You're a hell of a driver. But it was a pretty good fight and battle up there. Alex kind of blocked up the whole way. Yeah, you're always running up front, always running good, strong. So, Blaine, you want to ask him something?
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic race. I'm just running behind the scenes here, saving everything up, so I'm just sort of distracted right now. But fantastic race, man. It's always awesome. What your sponsor is like the most fun to say?
Oh yeah, Jerby McSwash.
What's the story behind that? There was a story behind that.
Yeah, so it's a Bloody Mary mix. And as far as I know, they just wanted to sponsor this event and raise a little bit of money for ALS, and I'm beyond grateful to be able to represent their brand. And Rodney, of course, painted this scheme up, and it's a beautiful car, and it kind of has me wanting a Bloody Mary right about now.
No, it looks sharp. Is there a story behind the name? Because somebody said something about there's like a combination of letters. It's like an anagram for something.
Oh, man, I wish I knew. I haven't actually heard.
Oh, man. Well, if they're in the YouTube chat, explain yourself. But either way, It's a cool sponsor. I love that paint job.
Brand, congratulations on the great run here tonight. Strong car, up front all evening long. Bring it home on the podium. We'll give you this opportunity now for thank you sponsors and shout-outs.
Yeah, just like I say, it's an honor here to help raise some money for ALS in memory of Joey St. Amant, Elmo. You're missed. But yeah, I just want to give a thanks to Kelly Causey for putting this event on every year. The one-off events are so much fun. I'd like to thank the admins with RTG that helped put this event on, Josh, Tim, and Rodney. RTG for putting up the server. I'd like to thank, I noticed in that auction, it looked like someone bid for me $65, so that's pretty cool. Hope you guys all enjoyed the show, and I'd like to thank my friends and family for watching, and my girlfriend Brittany.
Grant Wesley, third place here tonight. Solid outing. Brings it home with a solid finish as well. Congratulations on the great run here, Grant, and appreciate taking the time here to talk with us post-race.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Grant.
And we'll now jump up to second place driver Robert Breedlove. Robert, you got a copy?
I do. What's going on?
Man, it seemed like everybody here tonight experienced the front, the middle, the back of the pack, and it just seemed like the intensity was the same everywhere that you were at. You started this race out in front, 5th position, faded back there to the middle of the pack, was at the tail of the pack for a portion of time as well, was able to fight your way back up. We talk about drivers and their ability to be able to visualize where the momentum is and know how to time their moves in order to get back up to the front. You had to do that here tonight, but how easy, how difficult was it? Because obviously everybody was on go.
Well, it's never easy by any stretch of imagination, but here I just know these are, the RTG guys are going to run that second line, so I tried to stay more in the second line all night long because it seems like it goes a little faster than the outside or the bottom line.
Coming to what was obviously the race-ending yellow, you were running at the time inside line, you were battling for the third position. If this thing had finished under the green flag, or even if that caution hadn't flown for another couple of laps, it looked like you definitely had some momentum down there and you were planning on making a move for this win. Do you think you would have had a shot there at the 48?
Well, that's me and Alex were just talking about waiting after the Grant got done finished. I was going to probably stay with Alex. I think Alex was going to come down low. He knew, I wasn't going to run him dirty at all. So I think he was going to come down low with us, and I was just going to stay right there with Alex and take second. Second's just as good as a win, really.
Of course, as well tonight, a lot of specialness behind it with the fact it's a tribute race, it's a memorial race, it's a race for a cause. Does that add any extra incentive as well? We talk about the fact that as soon as you drivers take the green flag, you want to be the first one back there. But when something's got such a meaning behind it, something backing it like this, does that add any extra incentive from a driver's point of view?
I think it does, because I know personally, I know people with the ALS too, and I think everyone probably in their lifetime has known somebody, a family member or a friend or somebody down the line that had it, and you always want to, represent and do good for those people, because it's a horrible, horrible disease.
Well, Blaine, congratulations on the great run here tonight, putting that 931 up on the podium in second place. Before we let you go,
Robert,
we'll give you the opportunity. Oh,
you said Blaine. I didn't
right.
race.
I'm sorry.
I'll take second if you want to give it to me.
Robert, my apologies. Congratulations on the great run. We'll give you the opportunity here for thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
I just want to thank Kelly, and I know it's not easy task to do this, and I believe it's the car I was driving sponsored by their hunting camp, which is his mom, and so I want to put a shout out to her and appreciate her sponsorship and the car and all you guys do up there in the booth. I'm waiting to watch it back because there was some wrecks that didn't happen that I want to see and see how you guys react to those.
We had a little bit of everything tonight, that is for sure. Congratulations on the runner-up finish here tonight, Robert. Job well done.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Yeah,
congrats on your second place too, Blaine.
Yeah, I was going to. He mentioned the car sponsor, but yeah, Glenda Nanu Causey, Kelly Causey's mom, with the deer camp there. So that's a cool sponsor.
And I believe we have now made our way down to victory lane, and we've mic'd up tonight's race winner, Alex Moe. Alex, you got us?
I got you guys. How are you doing?
I'll tell you what. I've seen you do this before numerous times. I said beginning of the race, you were back there. Don't sleep on him. He's going to be up front when this thing matters the most. Sure enough, you're up there on that final restart. You get the push you need to get around the 88. Had a very close block there coming around to what was nearly going to be the white flag of this race and was able to keep them in the rearview mirror. You're one of the best in the business of working your way from the back of the pack up to the front of the field, timing your moves precision-like. Here tonight, no exception. What was the adventure like, getting this 48 eventually up to the front and taking the checkered flag?
Yeah, it's God, my hands are still sweaty. It was nerve-wracking there at the end. I didn't want to bumper grab Grant or Robert. The first half of the race went to par. Most of the race, I was working with Tyler Mallon, Joven, Goodpaster, and BSR Brian Boyes. And then that caution kind of knocked the pit sequence off, and we were coming out of pits as the leaders were coming behind us to take the caution. So Tyler and I ended up up front, and we just decided to keep the track position. So for the second half of the race there, I was able to just stay up front, and somehow it worked out.
We know this racetrack. We know the experience of the drivers. We saw it all race long, the ability to be able to make all 3 lanes move. You had the task of keeping them all in your rear view mirror. Now, this race ended under yellow. We would have potentially, if we had finished this race under green, had another 3 circuits around this 2.66 mile super speedway. How much of a sigh of relief did you have when you crossed the line, knowing that you were just going to be able to then run under pacing, get to the checkered flag, be able to pick up this victory? Or is there a small part of you that would have liked to have seen how that had finished out under those final few laps?
Well, there were a few of us were talking. There's a chance that we could have gotten a 1-lap shootout there at the end, because you never know when the caution comes out with about 4 or 5 laps to go, whether it's just going to stay yellow to the end or we might get a 1-lap shootout. But I was ready. I was going to start on the bottom line and just hit the gas as soon as it goes green and pray that the top line or the third line doesn't come. Usually the third line, once they get going, they'll kill the middle line. So I was just trying to stay low there at the end. I had a couple of restarts where I was on the outside and I was worried, especially because Chuck McClure behind me was missing 3rd gear, I believe. But luckily the leader jumped up and gave me some air, and somehow I just ended up there in 1st all the way to the end. I would have loved to have seen, a 1-lap shootout. I'm sure everyone, the fans, the broadcasters, everyone watching, and all the racers would have liked that, but that's just the way racing is with these yellow flags.
Well, no doubt your car, probably a popular one for dog lovers. Those canines featured prominently on your Chevrolet Camaro, and you parked that machine in victory lane here tonight. Congratulations on a job well done, fighting your way up through the field, hanging on there at the end. We'll give you now the opportunity down there in victory lane to do some thank you sponsors and shout outs.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for broadcasting. I hope we all put on a good show. I know this is a charity race for ALS. Prayers to all of Joey St. Amant's family and friends, who are still mourning years later. I was happy to get this dog car I was running. It was actually Nate Balser's car, but he wasn't able to race due to health concerns. So get well, Nate. I'm glad to have gotten your car in victory lane. Just like to thank Lowe's Chevrolet, all the fans out there who watch these races, all the drivers. I mean, this was a hand-picked, invite-only, top-notch field. I mean, this is, these days in 2025, this is as good as it's going to get for NR. And I believe that the prize that comes with a $100 gift card, well, I'd like to, instead of getting the gift card, I'd like to donate that $100 to the ALS Association on my behalf. I'll definitely take the trophy, though. But yeah, good job broadcasting, guys. I can't wait to go and watch it later with a beer.
Nate was watching in the YouTube channel. He did drop a congratulations, Alex Moe. So I was going to actually, you already answered the question, but I was going to ask how you got into that car. And you already answered that question because I knew it was Nate's last year.
Yeah, originally I was going to run the same Biloxi High School track car that I ran last year. And I finished 2nd, I think, last year. I think Tyler, myself, and Joven went 1, 2, 3. And that's what we were hoping for tonight. It just didn't work out. But once Nate had to back out, Kelly put me in the dog pound car, which is fine with me. I grew up in an animal-loving family with dogs, cats, birds, tortoises. So
nice.
I'm just glad to, whether it was Nate's car or not, just to get any car in victory lane and, win this race, put on a good show for everyone, and give the ALS $100 on my behalf.
That's fantastic, dude. That's
absolutely
so generous, to give that away.
Well, Alex, they say in super speedway racing, it's not about where you start, it's where you finish. Start at 36th, you bring it home P1 here tonight. Congratulations, job well done. Go and enjoy this victory and well-earned trophy as well.
Thanks so much, Seth, Blaine, Rod. You guys do a great job. I'm really anxious to hear you 3 all in the booth together, because I think that might have been the first time this has ever happened, and all 3 of you guys do a great job, but you already know that. I just want to thank Kelly for putting it on. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the invite. Thanks to the whole RTG staff for hosting. They did a great job administrating the race. Woo! Hands are still a little bit sweaty, but I'm just... it was a fun race. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Absolutely. That's Alex Moe. He's your winner here tonight for the Team Elmo 200 for the year 2025. We did get some confirmation, guys, on what the Jerby McSwash is the anagram for. It's a combination of 4 people's names, apparently: Justin, Herbie, McIntosh, and Scott Washington. So there you go.
Perfect. Thanks for your sponsorship, Jerby McSwash.
Now, I believe we have him on standby. We're going to get to, once again, talk with the organizer of this event, Kelly Causey. Made his way through that final wreck without a scratch, did a masterful job, brought it home in the 17th position. Kelly, I know it's not the finish you were looking for, but man, an incredible race here tonight, incredible event that you put on. Great finish there at the conclusion. Certainly can't be disappointed with the payoff here tonight.
No, it was. Of course, you'd love to be up there a little closer to the front, but kind of had a couple times I went to the third line and didn't have a lot of help, so went to the back. But anyway, that's part of racing, and tried to get back up there. We were kind of on our way back up there when the wreck happened. So, but I did get through it, and but overall, I thought it was. We got to see some green flag stops, and it's also some wrecks. So I hope it was good for the broadcast.
Definitely was. We saw a little bit of everything here tonight. All your typicals in terms of super speedway racing. Great 3 wide. We saw green flag pit stop cycle. We saw, as you said, some big ones. I think somebody
saves,
said we had
some saves too.
We did. I think somebody said we had the big one, the bigger one, and the biggest one in terms of those 3 wrecks there towards the second half of this race. But Kelly, again, we talked to you earlier about the organization of this and everything, and this has been a staple for the last 3 seasons. The turnout that we had here tonight, I think we ended up having around 51 top in terms of viewership here during this broadcast as well. It's amazing how all of this has come together and how it all culminated during the course of not only the lead up to tonight, but tonight as well. It's got to be gratifying for you as well, just all the effort put in and to have the event be as good as it was here this evening.
Yeah, I was really happy while I was riding around there that I thought it was probably, pretty good. I mean, especially when we went to green flag, had the 3 wide and all that stuff. So, yeah, I was really happy with how the race went. There's a lot of good racers out there to do what we were doing there, 3 wide for a while and 4 wide sometimes mixed in there. It was, and the saves that were happening just shows the type of drivers that are out there. So, but it was a good race, and proud of what the production that we had.
So now, do you take a day off and relax, and you start planning next year's tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll start working on it a little bit, but gonna have to take a break. I just took a head football job here where I work, so about 3 weeks, and that kind of tied into some of this. And but it was fun. But I am glad it's kind of over, where I can focus on that a little bit for spring ball. But yeah, we'll crank it right back up, and I think we've kind of built a little bit of a crew that we kind of work together to make this thing, because it's just not me. There's a lot of people that are involved in it. So so I'll give a shout out to them in just a minute.
I was saying on the broadcast there previously, it didn't take long to be like, hey, you want to do it again next year? So it's not even going to be a question. It's going to be, we'll see you next April probably. And I know you had a couple of dates in mind. It was going to be April or May. So next spring is the easiest way to say it. I think we'll be back doing an ALS race, another fundraiser for Team Elmo.
Yeah. So Blaine, what was the viewership that we've had in the past once the dust settles?
The other two broadcasts are the top videos on the channel.
10-4, and I'm hoping this one over the next couple of days will reach there, so we'll reach out and share it. And they can still have the donation off of that and all that. We still got the t-shirts that I will be posting up on Facebook with the Team Memo group, so that's another thing. So, but if I go ahead, and so I want to thank the RTG staff, Canon and Josh. Josh does an unbelievable job, as the admin for the race, and Seth, you and FRN and Tarnation TV, Blaine and Rod, man, it is unbelievable what you guys do. We were talking about it under the caution there about, what all-star group y'all are. We've got an all-star booth, and Rodney Sullins with all the paints that he does. I mean, he spends a lot of time. He does a lot of the rendering and things like that. And John Godfrey, letting us use his media fire and does some things with the track. And Michael Branda at ALS this year, who helped us out with the auction. We've got some things we've got to get cleared up for next year because it didn't quite run as smooth, but we'll be good. And Cooper and Jamie Creel, who all the legwork they do, helping get sponsors. And so, but all the sponsors we have, Jeff Jones, who's been with us for 3 years with Wickers and JonesyQ, and he added a third one this year. And just unbelievable what he does, because he always sponsors something else with the broadcast and always buys a car and does a lot for us. And Wayne Rodolphich, who did jumped in there. We had 11 new sponsors this year, so there's all kinds of guys. Brian Bowles had 3 cars on the night. Jamie Creel had 2. Eric Ohms, who's another guy that's brought in a lot with us. Ricky Lewis, David Blackwell, Terry Bombard, the Dirty Brown Water Boys. That's some guys that from my hometown, and they was hoping that Jeremy McSquash. It's a playoff of, I think, at 4 or 5 of them's name. They've got a company. And Jessica Lancaster, Ryan Bird, Shane Switzer, my mom, who she was really excited about that second place, I'm sure. Chris Horton, Randy Wall, Josh Metallic, and Judd Atkins. And I appreciate all of y'all that did sponsor. And the drivers, I want to relay the message. Most of the drivers that had those sponsors were talking that they really appreciated it. It means a lot for them, and they try to do their best for y'all. And there was a lot of pride in the fact that they were running for somebody else out there, with that sponsor. So really appreciate that.
And I don't know if you heard Alex talking. He won't accept the $100. He wants to donate it straight back into the fund. So
10-4.
He says he wants the trophy, but he doesn't want the gift card. So keep the trophy, but he'll donate the $100 to ALS.
that trophy is really neat. Our vocational students are the ones that do that. So it's made out of metal. And
I was gonna say, it looks like a hefty monster. That thing. It's a legitimate forged metal. It looks like a rim, right?
Well, we've got it made into, like, it looks like a rim, but yeah, it's just a flat piece of metal that they cut out, and cool. And I put some kind of color taping behind it, and it looks really good on the wall. And like I said, there's not a whole lot of those out there. So anyway, and I'm not sure who won who bid on the car. I didn't have access to that, but I'll handle that also with the auction, because they also get one. So, but anyway, good deal. I appreciate all y'all did, and I look forward to next year.
We'll be here. Thanks, Kelly, man. You got to take a rest, eh? I guess all the stress leaves once the race server fills up with drivers and we're headed to the green flag. You're like, look, it's out of our hands now. Let's do it, and then it's done.
I know you got a rest too, Blaine, because me and you have been on the phone today since about 8 o'clock, back and forth. So it's unbelievable the amount of time you've also put into it. So I thank you. So
thanks. It's fun to do it, and it's like I always think I've got it ready, but then today I was up at like 7 in the morning, and I knew I wanted to just triple check everything. Did a bunch of tweaks, changed a few things, changed a lot of things back, and then we're done. Went out, walked away from it for 3 hours, came back and did it. So
yeah, like I said, I think it's rewarding in the time that we put into it. There's no doubt, and I'll just leave with this. Joey, I think we made him happy. I think he's proud of what we're doing for in his honor, and let him know we got you, dog.
We got you, dog. Thanks, Kelly.
See you.
Rod, you there, buddy?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. Man. Awesome job. Thanks a lot, obviously, Rod and Seth, for all your help, guys. It definitely made it a lot easier for me to kind of ignore what was going on and focus in other directions and not sound like a weirdo trying to pretend I heard something when I clearly did not.
I like doing this with Seth. I learn every time I do a broadcast with him. I learn so much more, and that's why I kind of let him do the re-interviews. Consummate professional. Love working with you, Seth.
I'll tell you, I couldn't have typed the answer yes when Kelly offered me the opportunity to join you guys back last year for the 2024 event, and then when he re-asked me again this year, again, the answer was a resounding yes. I look forward to this every single year, to be able to call these races with you guys. I love the co-opetition that we've got here on the broadcast side as well. You know, we can throw in Top Dragster with Andrew Miller as well. We bounce off each other, we help each other. It's so cool to have that kind of trifecta of broadcast organizations. I mean, we can even throw JTN, Joe Talansky in there as well. I mean, there's just a good core four there of Event 2003 broadcast teams that are out there, and we just, you know, we help each other out in situations. I love the situation that we've got here with these core groups, and when we're able to get together and be in the same booth, yeah, absolutely, I'll jump on that opportunity.
What was the word you just used?
Co-opetition?
Co-opetition. That was good.
I feel like that was something that either Larry McReynolds or Joey Logano said, but I'm pretty sure they didn't come up with it first.
Yeah,
I believe Larry McReynolds has used that, yes.
Now I need to know if it's a real word, because it sounds like it sounds like it should be.
Yeah, right?
It's like, it sounds
not?
funny,
It's
but it should
still
be.
enough to us.
Co-opetition. I'm looking it up and Googling it.
Here he goes.
Oh my God, it is.
You got
It
him
is a
thinking
word.
now, Seth.
I thought you made that up. Yep, collaboration between business competitors in the hope of, yeah, it is, of mutually beneficial results. Co-opetition.
And that sounds just like us broadcasters.
It does.
Damn. Yeah, that's exactly like when you said it. I'm like, I know what that would mean if it was a word, but it actually is a word. So
it's one of those things. I don't know if it's a word, but I want it to be a word.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? And they say you learn something new every day, and we had 2 hours left, and I finally learned something, so we're good.
You're good for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, but yeah, again, do you guys have any final words before I wrap this up?
A great race. I just like last year, an awesome race, awesome finish. I really kind of wished it had gone down to the green, but I don't think the results would have been much different.
Yeah, that didn't really bother me. It was such a fantastic race that even though it ended under yellow, it didn't bother me.
Too bad we don't know how much money they made this time. I'm just hoping that it's more than last year.
Right.
Oh, even then, like I think Kelly said coming into this, we were like, 2,500, not even starting the race. So then with that QR code sitting up there for the last half hour, and throughout the race as well, I popped it in and out of there. Plus with the links down below, you can continue to donate. So
exactly.
Just because
if you weren't able to watch us live and you watch this back, feel free. The QR code, the links are still there. You can still go over and donate.
Yep, that thing stays active. Yeah, sorry, Rod, to cut you off. Were you done?
No, I'm good.
Seth, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it all night long. Just the dedication that has gone into this event year after year after year now. This being, I believe, the third iteration of this event. Just the organization that goes into it. The paint schemes that we saw, Rodney Sullins and numerous others feature out there on the racetrack, the sponsorships that backed each one of these race cars, even down to what we saw there in terms of Norm Benning doing the driver start your engines here tonight. Just all those different facets coming together is incredible to me. I mean, this isn't just your little run-of-the-mill weekly league race. This is a big event that was put together, and a lot of people from different places all over the country, all over this entire North America, all coming together to make this thing happen. Just to see this all the pieces just intertwine, all connect to make up what was the event here tonight is astounding to me, and I'm privileged to be a part of it.
Yeah, man, thanks for helping out as always. You guys make it a lot easier for me on my end. And fantastic race. Thanks to all the drivers. Thanks to Kelly for organizing the whole thing. We'll gladly do it again numerous times. thanks to Varkenstad, the music you've been listening to for most of this broadcast. I contacted this guy months ago. I said, hey man, I like your stuff. Can I use it on a stream? And he said yes. So there you go. That's what you've been listening to tonight. He's the only name we haven't mentioned. There's too many names to mention. But yeah, thanks for the tunes. Links to everything below. Keep on donating. Just because the broadcast is over doesn't mean the donations have to stop. And as always, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.
It's surreal. It's unbelievable, but it's a testament to how much people can love one another and how you treat one another. And I'm awfully grateful and thankful and very humbled by all the goodness that people have done and have helped me and praying for me. And like my little slogan is, God has a plan, and He surely does. And this is a great testament to that.